Hey, Crawlspacers, sorry we're a little bit late. Let's introduce the panel. We've got Mike. What's going on, Mike?
Oh, hello everyone. Sorry.
What a day you've had, it sounds like.
Oh yeah, the battery dying in my truck was the least of my problems. So sorry I couldn't make it to the review podcast.
No
And
problem.
incidentally, to sum things up, the straight B's. We'll just do that.
The what?
They'll make it simple. B plus B plus B. So
Okay, I gave them all C's.
Oh
Yeah.
really? It's
George
because of
gave
the
them
art,
all
right?
A's.
It's
Yeah.
because of the art, right?
Yeah, I hated the art. Yeah.
Yeah, the art was bad. The art was kind of rough. I mean,
Yeah,
it was
yeah.
just yeah.
We've got George. What's going on, sir? Mike gives him B, B, and a C. That's
Hi.
amazing. What's going on, sir?
Nothing. Just raring to get to this spider news, which is the chunkiest spider news we've had in a while.
We
It
have a
is,
lot
yeah.
of spider news. I'm guesstimating 2 hours on this one. It's
All the
so much
delays
fun.
from last year. We got to catch up with it. Yeah.
So much content we've got. And we've got Kelly. What's going on, Kelly?
Hi, good. Do want to bring up that Bruce, who does a article for the Crawlspace about his Spider-Man collection,
Spider Stash.
Yes.
Spidey Stash. Yep.
sent me a newspaper clipping, it looks like, or a newspaper copy of a giant photo of Mary Jane and Spider-Man getting married at Shea Stadium in 1987. So that's
And
pretty
wow.
cool.
And this, if you first time listening, Kelly is on the search of what happened to the 1987 wedding dress.
Yeah.
Anybody watching this for the first time, if you know, contact us.
Wait. Have we? I don't think we've discussed it. That it was stolen from Shea Stadium.
The
That's
dress
something
was
we've
stolen.
learned.
Yeah.
It was stolen.
We've got in contact with the actress who played Mary Jane at Shea Stadium, and I'm going to send an invite. Kelly and I can do a show with her. Also, the Green Goblin that was at the wedding.
Yep.
Nothing like inviting Norman to your wedding. That'd be kind of fun. We have a contact for him, so it'd be nice to have. If we can only find out who Spider-Man is, who I think I actually know who is. I think I know who he is.
I think, yeah.
He was on the cover of ASM 262, that actor. I think the guy's name is Scott Silva, who I've wanted to interview for a while. I think he might have been Spider-Man. Ironically enough, he also did, the like Web 125, where they had the hollow foil covers where Spider-Man's standing up. The guy dressed up as the Scarlet Spider too. So anyway, Scott Leva. Oh, sorry. Yes, Bruce. Scott Leva. No, it wasn't. Oh, well, then never mind. Sorry.
Well, the Green Goblin, if I'm not mistaken, does know everybody who is an actor, so maybe he can help you point in the right direction.
Right. Yes, and Jonathan Frakes, Commander Riker, was Captain America. Yeah.
Wow.
Also, yeah, you didn't know that?
No,
all right.
this is
So
all
look for
news
that.
to me.
Look for that show in June. Kelly and I are probably going to do that when I have a little bit more free time. All right. JR is in the house. What's going on, JR?
I don't know. After having sitting and waiting in the green room for so long, I just may go.
All right. Let's introduce JR one more time when he's
no.
not so grumpy. All right. We're going to do a take 2 of JR being positive, happy to be here. Go. JR, what's going on?
Yeah, I was noticing Mike didn't shave. How come he didn't shave today?
Because that's just kind of how I roll. It's all.
You look like surly mirror universe Mike now.
Oh yeah. It's kind of maybe because it's a razor I've got or something like that. It's like all that fine stuff. I've been kind of letting it grow. I figure since I've been getting up in age, I might as well have some kind of scruff. And so people, so I don't look like such a baby face. But
Bruce says that picture's from the Associated Press. So there you go, Kelly. The AP.
Oh, cool.
Oh,
It's a
Hornacek
laser
says
photo.
the
Okay.
dress was stolen by one of the electric company villains. I could see that.
yeah,
Possibly. Actually,
That
what's really funny is it's Willie Smith Designs, aka it was like in the 80s, Willie Ware. He had just designed Caroline Kennedy's bridesmaid dresses, and those were also stolen 2 days before her wedding, and he had to remake them. So I'm wondering if it's actually just someone that was just stealing his work.
It's an inside job, sounds like.
yeah, it's very much so. I was going to say the same thing.
That's crazy. All right. We have Spider News, and we haven't done an episode of Spider News in a while. So we've got a lot of topics to cover. The very first one, Mike, we're leading with you. We kind of alluded to this on the last show.
Yep.
The Sinister War. Talk about that's the new Spider-Man
Summer
mini?
event. Yes,
yeah, the
it's
summer
basically-
event. Yeah.
It's a summer event thing. It's basically what they're doing the same. They're doing a similar strategy like they did with the Clone Conspiracy. And like rather than having the main story be in the actual Amazing Spider-Man comic, like you would normally think, they're going to have like separate issues, like its own individual miniseries. So starting with the Sinister War, and basically the premises of this, it's basically a supervillain gang war. Now we've had supervillain gang wars before in Spider-Man. It's kind of a stock and trade. In this one, we have essentially it's Dr. Octopus versus the Vulture. And essentially what it's going to be, it's the way it's advertised, it's Dr. Octopus's Sinister Six, or brand new version of the Sinister Six, versus the Vulture's Savage Six, which was previously established earlier in the run. And based upon this, go ahead.
Talk about who's on it and what certain dinosaur man is on the cover.
Oh,
Look at
absolutely.
this, George.
Okay,
What's
so
up?
No
Yep,
suspense
so-
about who's going to win now. You know. I
Oh,
mean,
yeah.
Stegron's tail beats the whole thing.
yeah, the Savage Six, you have, of course, Stegron, the greatest dinosaur man of all time. And, well, he's not the leader, the Vulture is.
Yeah,
and
that's
so-
the only
That's a
wrench
con.
in the works here.
Yeah, absolutely. But the other members of his team included Scorpion, Tarantula, Rhino, and I think that's King Cobra from the the Cobra, whatever. It's not the Cobra you think in G.I. Joe. It's like whatever, the Serpent Society.
No, his name is just Cobra. I think.
It's just Cobra now.
Yeah,
No,
it's
when
just Cobra.
when he went to Mark Gruenwald's Serpent Society, he became King Cobra. But he may have gone back to just being called
Okay,
Cobra.
so he's just Cobra now. Okay,
Who knows?
not Cobra, la 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 la. or
But
anything.
he hates Hyde. That's when you relate it to Spider-Man. That goes back to classic Stern and Romita
very much
Jr.
so.
story. Yeah.
Yep. And going back on the other side, you've got Dr. Octopus, who's back in his new body. You got to read Superior Spider-Man to figure out how that happens.
And that looks like Max Dillon back here. That doesn't look like the female Electro
no. So I'm guessing
or Electra.
that was going to be my big suspense thing. But yes, Max Dillon and the original Electro is back. Presumably, I'm thinking that Kindred may have something to do with him being brought back because Kindred somehow, of course, he's involved in this. And on the other side, the other members of his new Sinister Six include Sandman and Hydro Man. So presumably, there's probably going to be we'll probably see the return of the Mudman at some point. I'm guessing.
The Mudman.
I have
Oh,
those two
the
on the same
Mudman.
team. Then you got Vultures also on that same team, and also the Kraven the Hunter clone. Because remember, Kraven died, and this is supposed to be his last surviving clone, who basically looks like him. And now, and so, but yeah, that's going to be. But this is going to be the big summer event, and apparently, I'm guessing there's probably going to be other villains involved because there's another cover. Yes,
Yeah, right
that's the
here.
cover. Yep,
You got White Rabbit.
White Rabbit on one side. So I'm guessing the Syndicate, the Beatles team, they're going to split over this because some of them are going to be siding with the others and they also got some folks. It looks like on the other side you got stuff like Shocker's somehow involved, and then you got
see Jack-o'-lantern.
Jack-o'-lantern there. Speed Demon's in there someplace.
Don't see Speed Demon, but
Yeah,
that looks like the original Beetle over here.
Yeah, I was thinking that was the original.
That looks like Taskmaster.
Taskmaster, right?
Is that Madam Web?
No, that's the Trapster with the.
The girl Trapster.
Maybe Janice starts wearing the original Beetle costume, or goes to that kind of look. Maybe
no, because Janice I thought is in here somewhere wearing her regular suit because she's over. Because one of these things is like, and then you got Lady Hawk in there. You got Hammer. I think Hammerhead somewhere in there too. So you got all the villains showing up in this thing.
Yeah.
There was one person in here. I think there was, if I'm not mistaken, I don't know if Black Ant's in there's two. So yeah, basically all the very different.
it would make
villains,
sense if Taskmaster's in there, that Black Ant's going to be in there. Now.
Right.
Yeah. And so, but basically, the whole idea is it's kind of similar. I mean, it's kind of similar to what they did with what DC did with the papers. Basically, sounds like it's going to be with the War of Jokes and Riddles, which was the Joker versus the Riddler, and they had different Batman villains on each side, picking sides and everything. So I don't think it's just going to be Sinister Six versus the Savage Six. It's going to be, they're going to have those that are going to be the two main villains.
Let me guess, Joker won that.
Yeah.
So
are we excited for this? Are you excited for this, Mike? I mean.
If it's going to sign, if it's supposedly everything's leading up to this, I'm interested in the idea. I don't think incidentally, it's going to be it sounds like it's another one of Kindred's schemes to kind of because we know Kindred did the last issue in the previous in the one of the issues that you guys did is that Kindred was basically implanted one of those satanic looking earwigs in his ear, and so it's somehow
Like Star Trek
manipulated.
2.
Yeah, so Doc Ock's being manipulated here again.
Yeah.
And so there's definitely Kindred's involved in this somehow. Like maybe he's orchestrating this whole thing behind the scenes to try to wear Spider-Man out again. And then,
the complaint I had on the last episode is about how Spider-Man's pushed out of his own book. We've got 12 people entering his book this summer.
Yep.
So are we going to have any time for Spider-Man? Are we going to have
they're all
all
bad guys. He's going to be beating all their asses, Brad.
Yeah.
Well, beating ass would be a good summer event. I would give it that.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's your standard comic book kind of event where you have all the villains basically, fight each other, and then you got at least it's not a hero versus hero thing. I mean, so you're going to have, they're all basically battle each other. Spider-Man's going to have to keep order here, and probably going to wear himself out.
Keep order, aka beat ass.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Go ahead.
I just want to say that out of context, beat ass is a fine summer event. It needs a little bit of
winter event. That's good. Any time of year event.
It just we might need to watch our phrasing before we get in trouble.
Well, I like that title better than Sinister War, to be honest.
Spider-Man beat ass.
Spider-Man beat ass.
It should be Sinister 6 War, because essentially that's what these guys are. They're all.
Yeah.
I think all these guys have been. I think except for Stegon, and maybe Cobra, and I think have all been on a version of the Sinister Six at one point or another.
Now, Mike, in the press release that's up on the Crawlspace, Nick Lowe is quoted and saying Nick Spencer always goes big. And this is the biggest story yet through the series and the concurrent issues of Amazing. So clear room on your best comic ever shelf.
Mm-hmm.
I know he's got to promote, but if you generally say it's going to be the best comic ever, it generally probably isn't. Is that fair, or am I just Mr. Negative today?
Well, maybe you are just a bit, but then again, we're all jaded because we've been told this in the Slott era, where basically every comic was the best event ever. But then again, this is Nick Spencer, so maybe so. But then again, this is also the same Nick Spencer who did Secret Invasion.
Yeah. He's gotten better since then.
He's got better since then. Yeah, and Secret Empire. Yeah, that's true. So, and this is a little bit smaller. So it's localized.
Hornacek says Spider-Man beats ass. Wasn't that JR's backup name for the website?
That's true. I had the G-rated version of it. Yep, that's right.
I mean, think of it this way, Brad. I normally stay away from events, from event comics, the same way I would tend to avoid testicular cancer. All right, but I'm considering picking this one up. I said earlier, I was thinking about maybe getting the Sinister War. So.
That's good. ES says, didn't they do that at the end of Marvel Knights Spider-Man, where there were 12 of them going at it?
Sort of, yes. But remember, all the villains teamed up together as a Sinister 12 under Norman Osborn. These guys are basically fighting each other. So basically, think of Dr. Octopus and Hammerhead fighting each other, except instead of Hammerhead, it's Vulture, because everybody knows Vulture better than Hammerhead. Sorry, what's
up with the font too? People were commenting.
Yeah, it's a very
90s font is back. Is it clone involved here?
Oh, I hope. Well, hopefully not. The only clone.
That font wasn't exclusively for clone crap.
Well, it says 90s is what it does.
Yeah, it says 90s. But I have always hated that font.
I have too.
It is very similar to a certain font here.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Oh, it is Spider-Girl's font, isn't it? Well, she's a 90s thing too.
Well, yeah, but in the second Spider-Girl series, hadn't they adjusted it to where it was the Amazing?
It
mirrored Amazing.
Yeah, the Amazing Spider-Girl. Yeah.
So
which I like much better. Okay. We've got the next topic. George, you've got this one. Alfred Molina confirmed in Variety. So it's exclusive. He's
It's
back.
legit.
Yeah,
I know it's not cosmic book news here.
This is Variety. This is an actual legitimate source.
Yeah.
Unlike the clickbaity stuff that Brad some guys falls trap into.
It's okay.
But yeah, Alfred Molina. This is from a few weeks ago, or a couple of weeks ago. But Alfred Molina has confirmed that he's in it, and gives a little, and by a little I mean very tiny amount of background on it. At a time when we have Garfield coming out and saying, "Look, I'm not in this." All the others, and then Holland saying, "No, these other people aren't in it." Here you have one confirming that they're in it.
Yeah.
And so,
And this makes number 2. Jamie Foxx confirmed he's in it too.
let's not talk about that.
Okay.
I've been. Remember what I said earlier? I mean, I've already agreed to see this because of Spencer.
Yeah.
The deal I made with Spencer,
That is
aka
true.
Mephisto. So yeah, and this one he talks about the fact that at the end of Spider-Man 2, the Raimi Spider-Man, he died. Now, when I saw the Raimi Spider-Man 2 film, I mean, yeah, he's floating down to the ground, like in the water and everything, and we see his vacant expression. I didn't necessarily think that he was dead. I read
Same.
comic books, Jack. That doesn't mean you're dead.
True.
But Molina was under the impression that he was very much dead.
Uh-huh.
Right.
And so he's talking here. He was like, what is the exact quote? His exact quote is when the actor asked John Watts, the director of No Way Home, how the movie would bring Doc Ock back, since, as he pointed out, I died. Molina said the director told him, in this universe, no one really dies. And I'm like, duh,
It's comics, man.
Yeah.
Well, didn't even Sam Raimi though tell him once? I thought I remember reading this quote where, Raimi said, "You didn't die, you disappeared."
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's
When at the end, when I walked out of Spider-Man 2, number one, I did not think Doc Ock was definitively dead, and I thought that it'd be very easy for them to bring him back if they wanted to at some point. But he also talked about, because he was talking with John Watt, he's like, "Oh, there's another problem. I'm like almost 20 years older than I was now.
Yeah, it's true.
I'm not as spry as I was back when, back when this thing came out." And so apparently what they're going to do is they are going to do some kind of de-aging work on him for the movie.
Sure.
And he said that was a little concerning because he was pointing out things like The Irishman, where, they can make Robert De Niro look younger, but he's still moving like an old man.
Yeah.
And then he pointed out, but the thing is, he was like, with Dr. Octopus, he was like, it's the arms that do all the work.
Yeah.
All I do is just sit there in the middle of it. So he thinks that the de-aging thing will actually probably work a little bit more because he himself actually will not have to move as much.
Matt had a question about the newspaper in Spider-Man 3. It says Doc Ock is still at large. Maybe that was referencing Spider-Man 2. I don't think.
Yeah.
I bet you that was one of the daily newspaper headlines when he was on Rampage.
You know that this theory, the popular theory going around, that this is going to be that this is the Doc Ock from Spider-Man 2, basically plucked out of the end of Spider-Man 2 right before he died.
You could totally see him going through a portal. I mean, that'd be perfect.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see. Because as I was talking about the other day off air, there was a local prop maker going around claiming that he had made a particular prop that has not been seen. And I couldn't find anything on it. And I'm pretty sure because normally Sony makes their props in LA and sends them here. So I'm pretty sure the guy was talking out his butt.
Georgia. Yeah.
Yeah. But that his talk about how he saw that his prop had been leaked leads credence to the talking about, and it is becoming increasingly clear that obviously it's obvious that there is a multiverse situation going on, but we don't know how yet.
Yeah. The Molina even says in the article that his part in the movie literally picks up the moment he's falling in the river.
That's cool. That's cool.
So yeah, that's
cool.
Heavily implies multiverse stuff. But
All
I think we all
right,
knew that
other
already.
thoughts on that one?
Not a one.
All right.
Not for me anyway.
JR? By the way, I'm sprinkling JR goodness like salt and pepper throughout this show. Usually I wait until the end where he's old and tired and he's like, Brad, why'd you give me this crap? I'm trying to push stuff up higher.
He's going to do that at the top.
I know he's gonna,
Wow.
so he's got more energy. He can say, Brad, this is actually a really funny topic. Thank you for picking this out.
That will never happen.
I know. All right. So there's a statue. Go, JR.
Well, actually, what this is this is actually one of the multiverses to which Spider-Man falls into. He falls into a universe of little bald men. And he's worshipped as a god by these little bald men. And then actually, Brad and George make appearances as well. Because
we're praying at the Temple of Spider right now. Actually,
because they're because they were able to blend in with the bald monks, and I'll leave it to you to figure out how. But now, anyway,
tell me about this thing. What is it?
Anyway, apparently, an anonymous donor gave this Buddhist temple in Thailand a 2,000-pound Spider-Man statue.
Ooh, little boy, watch out!
Yeah, I was about to say, don't squeeze Spider-Man's junk.
Or tug on Superman's cape.
Hopefully,
Hopefully,
this Spider-Man has a dance belt.
Yeah.
But
can I just?
The thing is, and here these monks are going, wow, it's really increased tourism and visitors. And it's like, wait a minute, I thought the whole idea of being a monk was to seclude yourself. And, of course, these are Buddhists, so they can't touch Jesus or talk to Jesus.
Hornacek says that is indeed a giant-sized Spider-Man. There you go.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All that's missing is a giant-sized man thing to go along with.
Oh my
But,
God.
All that's missing is the black lines on the damn feet.
Right.
Oh,
Yeah.
Because you notice the webbing is incomplete on there.
It
is.
Yeah. Hornacek says the spider's upside down, but we're complaining. It wasn't meant to be totally accurate. I guess. I don't know.
I feel like this does tie into the first story about large blockbusters.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Here's the segue.
Kelly, why? Kelly,
That was a stretch.
Kelly,
But she
why?
got it in there.
Please, Kelly, no. Kelly, why? Kelly, I expect of you of anyone here, I least expected it from you. JR is a given.
Yeah, she's coming around. She's coming to the dark side.
Oh my God.
Yep.
I
Bruce
mean,
says,
first Slott blocked me, so now I'm officially one of you guys.
welcome to the party,
Yeah.
pal, as Bruce Willis said in Die Hard. But Bruce says the anonymous donor is probably the same dude who donated the original art to ASM 15 or AF 15 to the Library of Congress.
No, because I'm pretty sure I know that dude knows that the line that the stripes on the boots aren't white.
Aren't white. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that guy's done the math on that one.
I like what Gabriel says. Imagine going to sleep, then you wake up and there's a giant Spider-Man statue in front of your house. So
I don't know.
JR,
I mean, is anybody going to hop on a plane and go to Thailand or whatever to hang out?
Why?
Hang
You
out
can
with
see
some
it
bald
right now.
monks and
It's so hot there. Like seriously, like Thailand, like out in the look
how
at
hot
them.
he
They're
is.
out in the jungle, dude.
A man's sweating right there.
it's not like he's wearing anything. I mean, he's just wearing a blanket or something or other.
all the jungle across Asia is just stupid hot.
Yeah, I wouldn't. I'm good. All right. That is called sprinkling JR goodness throughout the show. We will have more weird stuff coming up like that.
JR goodness.
JR goodness sprinkled throughout the show. I'm not saving it to the end. We're leading it at the top. Okay, Mike, take me through this one. Look how. Well, wait a minute. That's not what I clicked. Sorry.
Yeah, you mean the gorgeous twin
This
brother.
is Christopher Daniel Barnes. This is
I just wanted to take a moment
the Brady
to,
kid from the Brady movies.
address this
He's Prince
rumor
Eric.
that's been floating
Prince
around.
Eric
He stole
from
George's beard.
Quite some traction. I keep getting
Well, he was also the
backlash
voice of
about it.
Spider-Man. I think that's the whole point of this.
Yeah, he's the voice of Spider-Man. Talk a bit about this.
We lead off with he was one of the Brady kids.
Well, that's what his claim to fame.
Well, that's the least important part of his Spidey connection, Brad.
Well, I mean, this is
He played Greg Brady.
you got to remember, George. I mean, we got a
he was
younger
Peter.
audience. People are
No,
What's
Peter's the middle. Greg is the oldest kid.
Tell me
Okay.
about Christopher
He's
Daniel
correct.
Barnes. Like,
okay. So basically, there's been rumors going around because since it's the third Spider-Man movie,
And he's
might be
Amish?
connected- Well, no. Or that, yeah, but I mean, there's that. But I mean, also because the new Spider-Man movie is apparently supposed to be involving multiverse, they're thinking, oh, there's rumors involving that maybe they're going to bring other Spider-Man into the new movie,
Like Amish Spider-Man.
including including
Garden-building
Covid
Spider-Man.
beard here, Amish Spider-Man, Christopher Daniel Barnes, voices of the excellent '90s cartoon. But of course, he categorically denies this. He's saying, "Oh, I wish it were true because it would be awesome."
oh,
I mean,
no.
Yeah,
Hold on a
but
sec. Looks like CDB is cosplaying as
I
Alan
mean,
Moore.
Alan Moore. Yeah, no, he needs to have a little longer hair.
God.
and he also needs to have those reins on with all the little
Yeah.
the little hook things and like where he goes, "Ooh, I got to talk about the magic
Right.
and all that stuff."
So I saw these articles. They were like Christopher Daniel Barnes, the '90s
Barnes
voice of
thing.
Spider-Man. He's in it. Everybody and his brother's in it. Well, he
Right.
denied it. Yeah.
Well,
oh yeah,
I mean,
and this is
Well, Kelly, what were you going to say?
what I was gonna say, because you're talking about like there were some rumors that he was even going to be in the live action one.
Yes.
Mhm.
Okay, because
I would suspect that it would be an animated, kind of like Penny Parker.
yeah.
I don't know.
That would be
Well-
kind of cool. Yeah.
Well, what I was going to say is back when they hadn't announced Tobey Maguire yet, he had said he really wanted to play Spider-Man because I think at the time there were rumors it was going to feature Venom, and he was like, "I'm the only Spider-Man that's fought Venom, outside of the comics, and I still want to be that guy."
Mhm.
But of course, that was 20 years ago. So
Mhm.
Right.
Yep.
So
Time goes by quick in Spidey fandom.
Yep.
mhm.
it does.
And this is also connected, by the way, to two other related stories, which are kind of hitting the same topic.
Are you talking about Andrew Garfield?
Yes, I am.
There you go.
Where he basically gives this whole interview on Twitter where he's basically going into ruckus. Says, "Oh no!" He's just laughing about the very idea that he's going to be in the new Spider-Man movie. So he's like, but he even acknowledges here it's kind of like that game of Mafia, or in England they call it Werewolf, in which you basically have to guess who it's like. And because no matter what he says, no one's going to believe him.
Okay, McNulty,
Yeah.
there is Werewolf. It's here in the United States. It's an actual card game.
Oh, it is a card game. Okay.
Yes.
Well,
Yeah,
so
Werewolf the
I know.
Apocalypse. It's based on a
Yeah.
role-playing game.
Yeah,
Yeah.
shows what I know. But okay. Thank you.
Same universe as the Vampire the Masquerade.
Or Masquerade. Yeah,
yeah,
that's
yeah,
right.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
But the analogy is that Garfield says is everybody keeps saying you're in it. I'm not in it.
And he says,
You
"No, I'm
really
not."
are. I
And
know
no-
you're
but
lying.
no one believes it. And there's a reason why no one believes it. Because remember that little story years ago about Zendaya, in which she basically said, Zendaya. Sorry.
It's
What
fine.
what was it?
Yeah. It was when she was going around, the rumor was going around that she was going to be playing Mary Jane. And she says, "No, I'm not going to be playing Mary Jane. I'm going to be playing Michelle." Well, yeah, she was playing Michelle, but her initials were MJ in the actual movie because they stood for Michelle Jones and stuff. So, again,
yeah.
Go ahead.
I listened to this interview very carefully,
Yeah,
and he doesn't directly say yes or no. Did you notice
exactly.
that? He did not. He said, "I did not get the call. I did not get the call." So what if they showed up at his front door? What if
could
they
have got the
texted him?
email?
What if he got an email?
Well-
I mean,
Or
Well,
here's
Or
go
Kelly.
ahead. Kelly's got you.
sorry, I was just going to say if they have unused footage, Sony's allowed to use it and use his likeness.
Mhm.
oh,
Yep.
So
So
he didn't
what
have
the-
to do anything.
Yes. The other option is they can also do ADR work. Basically, have like digital. If they're going to reintroduce Spider-Man from other universes, they could have them do voiceovers,
Mhm.
and rather having making physical appearances.
yeah,
Because that's how kind of like this would work. Because
But also kind of
again-
proving his point about no one
Yeah.
believing that he's not involved.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Absolutely, it is. I mean,
Yeah.
but again, at least I'm saying he's acknowledging the fact that even no matter how much he categorically denies this, no one's going to believe it because. But then, of course, even if you ask the question like, "Oh, are you going to appear in the new film?" Why would you admit that? Because
exactly.
because
Exactly.
think about it. If you're going to have Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield reprise their roles as Spider-Man, show up in the third movie, and make it as like a surprise, the audience would lose their minds.
Yes.
That would be the big like climactic moment. Like,
And-
oh my
and that's-
gosh.
And does the panel think Andrew and Toby are in it? I do.
I
You
think
don't,
about
Kelly?
50-50.
I don't
It's
anymore, no.
50-50 with me. It's
I think their suits might, but they're not.
yeah.
Oh.
I think
Kelly's
they
yeah.
got told that Jamie Foxx's Electro was going to be it, and they both passed.
JR, is Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield in the next movie? Go.
I don't know, but I give some credence to possibly Tobey Maguire because Sam Raimi is directing Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. I think I think Tobey might even be in that one. I mean, I think the Sam Raimi connection makes it very possible that Tobey Maguire will be in it. Andrew Garfield, I don't know. I mean, you know, and again, what are these people what are they gonna say? I mean, it's like, you know, I ignore all these interviews because there's no way they're going to admit it one way or the other because
Right.
they can't, you know.
Bruce Campbell pretty much acknowledged that he is without saying it.
Well,
Yeah, Bruce Campbell said he's in the
Campbell's in
Doctor
it.
Strange movie.
Well, Bruce Campbell's
yeah.
in every Sam Raimi movie. I mean,
Yeah.
that's not even the only surprise there is what will Bruce Campbell show up.
The
as.
thing is,
That
Andrew
the old
Garfield
66.
is not my favorite Spider-Man, and I won't be heartbroken if he's not in it. But
I won't.
I will miss the opportunity if Tobey Maguire's not in it because that's my favorite of the three.
What made the Andrew Garfield Spider-Man or the most positive thing about the Andrew Garfield Spider-Man was Gwen Stacy.
Mhm.
Yeah, great.
And the interaction and relationship that they had. You take that away, it's just Andrew Garfield.
Right.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
I liked Andrew Garfield because it looked like Andrew Garfield liked being Spider-Man.
Spider-Man.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes I'm not so sure Toby liked being Spider-Man, to be honest.
Mhm.
But I liked. I mean, I have a soft spot for Andrew Garfield because he seemed to genuinely enjoy being Spider-Man. Spider-Man 2, Amazing Spider-Man 2, however, is not the franchise's finest hour.
He did. Garfield did emotional Spidey way better than Maguire did. Though I'll give him that.
Also, he also had probably the most accurate of the Spider-Man costumes, and
Well, at
also
least in the
was-
second one.
At least in the second one, right? And he also, at the very least, had better jokes.
His quippage was
yeah.
good. Yeah.
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 But
His
that's
quippage
not.
was
I
better.
mean, that's not on the actor, dude. That's
I know
Yeah.
that's
The
not
writing, yeah, I'll give you that.
But yeah, which was, but you know, I don't know if some of that was improvised or not. But,
Mike, there's one more thing about all this acting thing. We've got
Yep.
a Tobey Maguire a Tom Holland
Tom
interview
Holland
in
yep.
Esquire.
Yep. Where he's also kind of saying the very similar thing. He's basically
Mm-hmm.
saying, "Oh, you know, he's like, you know, he's saying that no, Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield are not in this."
Nicki
thing.
Minaj
He's
has
like,
announced she's
yeah. But what's interesting about this piece in the Esquire is the writer essentially says, you know, and he sounded and looked very pained when he said it. To which
Oh,
I'm going,
That he
he's
was
an
sad that-
actor.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
He's an actor. That's
Well,
what
if you
they
think about
do.
it,
Yeah.
how old was he when Tobey Maguire was in theaters? That film's 19
my
years
God.
old.
I don't know that he was born, was he?
I'm not sure was he even born.
He wasn't
Yeah,
born.
No.
he's in his 20s. He's
Oh,
Tom
is he?
Holland.
Okay.
Now, yeah.
He is now, but like when he first appeared, let me see. So
Mhm.
the first time he was Spider-Man was what, in 2017.
Yeah,
Yep.
The first Spider-Man movie was what, 2000?
2002.
No, because he was first appeared in the Marvel in Captain America: Civil War. That was 2016. Then he appeared.
No.
next year. Yeah,
Oh yeah.
yeah, and then he appeared in Homecoming. I think the following year.
But that's
And
what
I
I'm
think
saying
it-
though. The first thing he
Yeah.
appeared in was Civil War. So that's 2017.
Yep.
And
Mhm.
and the first Raimi Spider-Man movie was what, 2000 or 2001?
2002.
2001, 2002.
Okay,
Tom
so he was a
Holland,
baby.
Tom Holland was born June 1st, 1996.
Yep.
Okay.
I was
about to
he
say
was
that.
only- So he was literally like 5 or 6, 5, 6, 7 years old
Yeah.
when
He was probably
when-
watching saying Spy-Man or something
Yep.
like that.
Yeah.
Venom Man.
Venom Man.
Venom
my-
Man.
As my friend's
Yep.
kid once
But,
said,
but
called him.
what's the main quote of this? This is promoting his movie Cherry, which I think is an Apple Plus
Yeah.
exclusive. I think,
Mhm.
which I'll
You
probably
can only
never
see
it.
Cherry on the Apple?
Yeah,
Yeah. You can only
that's
see it on
ironic,
Apple
isn't it?
Shouldn't it be on Cherry Plus? The people at Cherry are really dropping the ball here.
Right.
But-
I know. Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, he says Andrew and Tom are not in the. Is basically what this article says, right?
Clearly, scroll back down. Clearly, the takeaway quote from this scroll is so naturally I decided to dance in the rain in fishnet tights. That's the takeaway from this. What the hell? WTF? I have legitimate questions. What?
Oh wow.
Oh yeah, that because I guess that's one of
What?
the dream sequences. I think in Cherry or
Fishnet
something like
tights,
that.
yeah.
It's supposed to be about a vet who comes back and robs banks, and I guess he's kind of has some
there you go.
PSD thing. Yeah, one that based on one novel thing, but but again, he's category 9. I just find it funny that the writer of this piece is like, oh man, he seems like he's really pained, and he's like, he sounds so disappointed. I'm like, yeah, he's an actor. That's what actors do.
So, Mike, I forget. Mike, do you think Tom and Andrew are in it? I forget what you said.
At this point, I think it's about 50-50. I mean, it can go either way. I mean, it's literally because literally that's how it's going to go. I mean, I think I think Kelly has a very legitimate point in the sense that if it could easily use their likeness and use basically do digitally in placements and do like 80 voice work to fill in the thing. They don't have to physically be there.
But wouldn't that be disappointing? Wouldn't that be disappointing if you just you don't see their actual face? You just kind of hear like bits and pieces of audio chopped together to make sentences. Yeah. How disappointing is that?
Well, but that's a standard practice. That's what they did in the Doctor Who, anniversary special, where they brought supposedly brought all the doctors back and basically had their, likenesses, images, and voices and brought them in there. So,
X says Tom Holland's denying he's even in the next Spider-Man movie.
Right. Yeah.
Let's see. We've got George with this article about Netflix cutting a deal with a couple people. Oh, pop up. Hold on. There we go. I've even got I don't have the pop-up on.
Yeah.
So I can see this article. CNBC wants me to see ads. Go ahead.
Yeah. So Netflix and then also Disney Plus.
Here, let me pull
and
it up.
Sony all got together and signed different deals. But it's weird. It's like, 'cause all the MCU stuff used to be on Netflix, and some of it still is. They have like a revolving thing now, where every now and then they pull something off of Disney Plus and it goes back to Netflix.
Yeah.
And it's weird. It's like, well, all these other companies like set up these rival streaming platforms. None of them got the cojones that Netflix does in the game.
Yeah.
Absolutely not. Not even Disney of all companies. So yeah. So Brad's got that one up. The one that I was
CNBC one. Yeah.
The one that I was looking at was the Variety one, which focuses more on Disney, on the Disney and Sony part of it, not the Netflix and Sony part.
Yeah.
So you're gonna see more of Sony's. What is the long ass name of it? The Sony stable of Marvel characters, or what is it?
Sony Cinematic Marvel.
It was like Sony's Cinematic Universe of Marvel.
Sony's Cavalcade of Stars. I think that's what I called it. Remember?
Sony's Battle of the Network Heroes.
Yeah.
All I know is it reminded me of my first job because it was like SSAM, and I was like, "Is it Smack?"
Right. First job was selling Smack. What?
No,
Sony's been selling Smack.
It was St. Mary's Aquatic Center was my first job, and we had it was shortened to Smack.
Is it the Sony universe of Marvel characters?
That sounds good.
It's something like that. It's basically all Spider. It's the universe of Marvel leftovers that have to do with Spider-Man.
Yeah, is it Sony watch us literally milk any damn thing we can out of Spider-Man while we have it?
Yeah.
Boy, by now we would have known if Morbius is going to tank it or not. We would have known by now if it wasn't for COVID.
If Morbius even Morbius even premieres.
Morbius has been delayed non-stop Spider-Man. I tell you what.
I'm gonna go out on a limb here, and I'm gonna say no. That's a BS excuse. Because they just put out Godzilla and King Kong, and it was wonderful. It was people loved it. People got out of their shelters to go see Godzilla and King Kong, or they watched it from their shelter in the the comfort of their own home. But to keep delaying movies now because of the COVID is a BS excuse.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And I'm sitting there looking at it, and I'm like, if I was a theater owner, oh my God, I'd be so angry at these people. I'd be like, dude, we're teetering on the edge of extinction. Give us damn movies, Because when I was so happy to go back and see Godzilla and King Kong, I got a big old tub of popcorn, man. you know, and I got some candy and a giant drink. That's not true. I
How
got
many
the medium
people were
drink.
by
'cause
you? I mean,
I got the medium drink because I didn't want to have to go to the bathroom. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Brad.
Was there a lot of people in the theater with you? Or did you have it by
Yes, there was a
yourself?
lot of people when I went to go see it.
Like every other seat or what?
I wouldn't. Well, I mean, it wasn't full because they limit how many seats are going to be in there anyway, and they just expect people to socially distance themselves. I imagine if it had been a bigger crowd than it was, the usher may have come in and said, "Could you please disperse? Could you please separate?" But no, I mean, it was a good crowd for the COVIDs.
I miss going to the movies. Last one I saw was in January 2020. I saw Bad Boys for Life.
The only thing that's going to get me into a movie theater anymore is either these big ticket effects movies, things like Godzilla and King Kong, something where I'm just because here I don't even like comedies anymore. I mean, like all the comedies I've seen that I liked, I've seen them already. They've already happened in my life. I watched them from like 2000 and earlier.
Yeah.
And so
I'd agree. Comedy, it does have to be something bigger than life, like a Star. Well, hell, even Star Wars now. The Mandalorian's like a film.
Suspense movies are a dime a dozen. So if you're gonna get me back in the movie theater, it's going to be something like your Godzilla versus King Kongs, or it's going to be something like a Star Wars.
Black Widow getting you back in,
where I go in crossing my damn fingers, hoping that doesn't suck. Black Widow. I'll probably go back and see Black Widow.
Same.
Yeah. I'll probably go back and see Black Widow.
Yeah, jumping off of George's point. I mean, movies. I mean, even before the pandemic hit, movies had to be the movies worth going to were the ones that were supposed to be the big spectacle things. Something where you could kind of tell that they put their money into it, money and talent and time and all this stuff. The idea, something that was literally too big for a small screen, and. You know, that's kind of the thing where you have to, I mean, so if people want to go entice people to go back to movies, they're going to have to do a lot more of these bigger budget kind of spectacle kind of stuff like they used to do back in the heydays, like, you know, where they had those, those epic movie things like from the 50s and 60s, the 50s and stuff like that. I mean, they're going to have to go back to that kind of ideal.
And I'm going to say this real quick, Brad, because I've got it on my mind. It is time for movie theater trailers to die. Because here's the thing. But no, I like them too. It's why I watch them on YouTube. But because by the time I see a trailer now in a movie, and there's 20 minutes worth of this crap.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right now, remember back in the day, I remember one time in 1989, I saw a film. I bought a ticket to a movie. I don't remember which movie it is. It was probably one of those American Pie ripoffs that they had back in the day. So I went in and bought a ticket because a friend of mine in another city said, "Dude, the new Batman trailer is playing before this movie." I bought a ticket to a movie I wasn't even going to watch just so I could go in and see the damn Batman trailer.
Yeah.
Batman trailer player, I'm out. I'm done. I'm out the movie. All right. It was that important to me. I spent like $5 or whatever it was at the time to see the damn Batman trailer. Wow. It is 2021. Yeah. It's I mean, we are in an age now, we have been for many years now, where any trailer that we actually are interested in and want to see, we've already seen it before we get to the damn movie theater.
Yeah.
Yep.
And the ones that we haven't seen, we don't give a rat's ass about.
It's wasting our time, huh?
We don't care. We're not going to see it. F off.
The theory, I suspect, is you're a captive audience, so you're definitely going to see it. It might spark something that you won't.
It doesn't mean we should get the fist at the same time, Brad. They're already doing that to us on concessions.
That's another
deal. You got to
deal.
take out a line of credit now to get a damn tub of popcorn.
I'm just saying, you're a captive audience. If you're staying there longer, you're eating more. You're probably going to go, "Hell, there's another credit. I'm going to the snack bar once again."
Or what about I know when I go, there's always at least one or two people in our group, like in the before times, obviously, that was always late.
Yes.
So
you shouldn't be friends with those people.
That's fair. That's fair. But
Personally, I say no by not buying the popcorn but then again, I'm insane. But
you should be like Phil in Modern Family, where he wears a coat and packs all the snacks and
I've done that.
My mom used to do that. My mom used to do that as a kid, and she'd pull the bowls out. Yeah, she'd pull the bowls out and then pour the popcorn and
yeah.
Real quick, George. This basically says like the Maguire movies, the Holland movies and the Garfield movies, and possibly Spectacular Spider-Man the cartoon, they can come over to Disney Plus, is what I'm gathering from this.
Yay! Most of us already have them on dinosaur.
There's been
Dinosaur hard
discussion
copy media.
that they're going to pick up the Spectacular Spider-Man series, which I don't think is happening.
No.
I think it's just, hey, here's some more content for Disney Plus. We'll have more eyes on it, and it can fall into that little Marvel. You click on the little icon.
Disney Plus is desperate for content. And the reason I say that is because they have not hit that mark yet where they have an idea of in their head of how many subscribers they need before it's profitable, like worldwide, and that number is 200 million.
Yeah, but they're above their estimates is what I've read.
Not after
COVID helped the hell out of them.
It ebbs and it flows. Like they are for a while, and then one division goes off, and it's back down, and people cancel. True. Then Falcon and Winter Soldier kick back up. People will subscribe again. Oh, and look, it's back down again.
Yeah,
we're probably in the era where people are skipping a month of not doing the monthly subscription because we don't have Loki until June.
They didn't realize when they started this whole endeavor. They started strong with Mandalorian, which everybody loved, but they didn't realize that, oh, hey, if you don't have exciting, fresh stuff that people haven't seen before, they're not going to pay for it per month.
That's why Netflix has the advantage over all their competitors, is because they've been doing this for years. They've been having the original.
That's why Netflix got the world swinging from its nuts.
Yep.
That's also why. Well, for people that just joined us, hopefully that's not the first word you hear of this show.
No, I'm sorry. I was listening to that "Damn It Feels Good to Be a Gangsta" song from The Office this week.
Yeah,
that's a line in that song.
Good God.
So I'm sorry. It was in my mind. I apologize.
I'm just saying that's why Netflix can drop a season, and Disney's got to spoon it out. He's got to spoon it out once a week to keep the subscribers signed up.
Yep.
Well, Disney, I think, finally realized that when you look at the fact that, there's 17 trillion new Star Wars series coming.
Yeah.
I hope Disney realizes, oh, by the way, you need to film them all at once if you can.
Yeah.
So that you can have, or half of them all at once, and then as soon as you're done with them, start producing the other half, because you're going to have to keep stuff coming out every month.
You've got to keep feeding the furnace.
And also make sure they have enough of a budget in order to fill these things.
Yes.
Because that's going to be the other thing. Because that's going to be about the.
Speaking of feeding,
the cat from outer space ain't going to keep bringing people back every
exactly.
As much as I like it.
Hey, let's watch Fantasia again.
Ooh, kids, look, Escape from Witch Mountain this month. Really?
Hey.
I like that. Don't get me wrong. I love Kim Richards in that too. And as a little kid, I had a crush on Kim Richards in that thing.
Speaking of feeding the internet beast and streaming services that need content, the next one that they're talking about is Silk. I heard on Amazon Prime.
Oh yeah, this.
No, it is actually. I mean, it's slated to start filming.
Yeah.
So was
Tell me about this one, Mike.
Okay, so apparently this is going to just to show how complicated the whole Sony and Marvel arrangement is. Yeah. This one's not going to be appearing on either Disney Plus or Netflix. At first, it's going to be showing up on Amazon Prime.
Okay,
which is slightly doing a little bit better because at least they have they're kind of catching up.
Look at that! The Lord of the Rings series is going to cost $450 million to produce. Good God!
Yeah.
I'm not even watching that thing.
I've heard some.
I've already heard too much that I'm like, I think I'm going to pass on this.
But I
think I'm done.
But basically, so they're talking here a little bit about who Silk is. That she basically got her powers momentarily from the very same radioactive spider momentarily after Spider-Man, like Peter Parker did. And so I guess they're already starting to be going to film this thing in late August. So apparently they've already got. I don't know who's on the cast, but apparently they must already have a casting of this show.
Yeah, I'll point out that Silver and Black had a filming date starting, script done without having a cast announced.
Yeah,
but again, this goes back to this idea that Sony wants to have their own cinematic universe, but sort of be tangentially connected with Marvel, but not really. So
depends on who you ask.
Yeah. I mean, you're right. At this point, who even knows? But I guess they are going to. So the idea of
I
having
think Kevin Feige knows.
So I guess
Kevin Feige seems to know really well.
So I guess this is going to be the closest thing they're going to have to a Spider-Man related TV show. Without Spider-Man, we're going to have Silk instead because she's still relatively a small time hero. I mean, I'm sure some people disagree with that.
She's too small for Disney Plus.
But I guess it's manageable.
On Amazon Prime.
It's going to be manageable.
Yeah, and plus Amazon. This is going to be a tester. So when Amazon bought the rights or Amazon, like hardcore bought the rights for Silk a long time ago.
Yep.
But if this does well, you can bet your bottom dollar that Sony and Disney Plus are going to then try to work something out, maybe for a Miles show, maybe for something bigger on their platform.
How long for the day we had just one damn Spider-Man?
That's a long time ago.
But again,
we haven't had one damn Spider-Man since the '90s. Miguel.
I don't include Miguel though. I mean, Miguel is so vastly different from the original Spider-Man and everything in it. He's not. I don't even include Miguel in that.
Also, if you think about it, the Silk TV show will be the first time we've ever had a live-action television show since the 70s. Even though Spider-Man show, so it's not even a Spider-Man thing, but it's Spider-Man related. So it's like, but it also kind of shows that if they can make a Silk show, surely they can make a Spider-Man.
Maybe they can throw Ezekiel in it and make it suck worse.
Well, as part of the origin story, they have to include Ezekiel.
Well, there you go. Guaranteed suck.
Guaranteed. Who's Neil is a big Silk fan, and I am more of a Silk fan after Slott stopped writing her. She's the ongoing wasn't bad. It really wasn't bad.
I can't look at Silk and not see the sex toy that Dan Slott created her to be and made her out to be. Kelly grimaced at that, but I mean it's basically true.
No, it is true. My face is coming from Slott disagreeing with that.
Well, I mean he's entitled to be wrong, but
that Peter and her couldn't keep their hands off each other because of pheromones or whatever.
Notice how quickly they got rid of that.
Yeah, that wasn't in her ongoing at all, and it was better
because
for
everybody pointed out to him how creepy that was, like the Van Lente thing with the roommate. What was her name?
Gonzalez.
Ugh. Or the lizard thing. Jesus.
Yeah.
So, anybody excited for the Silk show? I'll probably watch it.
Neil?
Yeah.
I'll check it out.
I will.
Yeah. I will. At least give it like maybe one episode, because again, like Amazon Prime, they also do that kind of weekly release thing that they do. And they're also, I guess, they're okay so far. I mean,
I watched the first episode, keeping it Spider-Man related, and Ryan Otley. I watched the first episode of Invincible and I liked it. Yeah, I'm going to watch more of that.
I enjoyed that comic. Yeah, so, or at least the first 75 issues I read of it.
Yeah. And Robert Kirkman, I thought Marvel Team Up Suck at JR Volume 3 was pretty good that he wrote.
And for those
and Invincible was teamed up with Spider-Man in that series.
And for those of you who haven't seen Invincible yet or haven't read the comic, it gets even crazier by the time you get to the season finale, which I will not reveal what it is.
And I've not read the comic, and I got to the last scene of episode 1. I'm like, oh, this is why it's rated TV or whatever. I'm like, whoa.
It gets crazier than that, by the way.
All right, moving on topics. Kelly, this is a famous Mary Jane cover.
It is.
We all have seen this one and the awkward posing, and it seems people on Twitter
Hold on.
People. One
guy.
Oh,
are you going to do the?
Well, it's not just one person. I will explain I'm taking off my tennis shoes, so I'll do it in this pose the whole time. Just
if any of us three gentlemen do it, we're going in traction.
I mean, I am not in jeans. I'm in basketball shorts. So there's that. Hold on. All right.
He's trying
more than I'm wearing.
God.
Just
all right.
Okay, there's Kelly, and there is the Mary Jane pose. There we go.
All right.
So take me through this. J. Scott Campbell and Twitter and a user got in a discussion.
Okay, so it didn't actually start on Twitter. It started on Tumblr. There is a popular Tumblr page that basically fixes bad comic art. And this person, non-binary Finn Martins, who does go by something else, apparently on Twitter. But I did not take the time to look for that at all because everyone keeps calling them non-binary here. So non-binary decided to fix this art because they were tired of the quote-unquote male gaze that this is on and how unrealistic it is, how ill-proportioned J. Scott Campbell's art is, et cetera, and fixed it in this way. Now, this has been going on since 601 because it is a very weird position to sit in. And unless you are a spider character or have very stretchy jeans, which those did not look like, it can be a little difficult. But again, this is J. Scott Campbell artwork. Is this supposed to be realistic? This is a comic book. Yeah. But anyway, people have been talking about that all day long, or not all day long, but you know what I mean? This entire time since 601. Yeah. And so this is over 200 issues ago. And anyway, normally J. Scott Campbell is really, really good about just ignoring this. But for some reason, this struck a nerve. I think it's because it went so viral. And he decided to call out non-binary and fix non-binary's fix of his art. And
here it looks like this. There you go.
It looks like this, which actually is a very pretty artwork and a lot better than necessarily the artwork, because again, there was some issues about the lack of a chest. But again, non-binary was doing it because they felt that this pose was too sexy. I think ultimately the issue is just Mary Jane's too sexy. It's always going to happen with her. But
comic book characters are sexy.
Yeah, but this came off a little. This response got a lot of mixed reactions. Because now, of course, and I agree with this part is, don't fix other artist art. It's kind of disrespectful. It's tacky as a word. Yeah. It's not right. But at the same time, J. Scott Campbell is the one making the big bucks. I think non-binary, who is actually using this to further their artist career, although I don't know why they would, is basically a fan artist. And this is something that J. Scott Campbell's also showing, basically saying he did use anatomy. Which he did. I mean, I'm sitting like this. It's not necessarily uncomfortable. It just would be uncomfortable in those jeans. But the situation at hand here is this didn't come off, I think, the way that he intended it to, because it does make him look a little petty and a little immature. But I also understand that, this isn't the first time this art has been called out. It's not the first time his art's been called out. I know I personally love making fun of boob socks, which he loves doing.
By the way, Vinkman says, remember, every time Kelly says boob socks, take a drink. Thank you for the boob sock super chat.
Yes. But the thing is like, because we'll talk about another story where he brings up something from 2007 and we have that artwork and it's way worse than what he's doing now, because it literally looked like everything he was drawing on anybody, male or female, looked like straight up body paint. He's gotten a lot better as he goes on. And like this, to me, this cover, the worst part about it is the way the angle of it in the drawing does look. It makes her waist look itty bitty, but how many times have I, from, my stuff, like I can change my arms on a camera perspective to literally look like toothpicks. It's just a perspective issue. Yep. He is a great artist. He is very, very talented. And honestly, he makes the big bucks. He didn't have to resort necessarily to this, but I also understand that enough is enough. And now, he's being very, very petty and auctioning off his fixed art of non-binary
Hold on.
What is it? What is that? 5,000 now? Is it at 5,000?
Here, let me click on his Twitter again. Hold on.
That's awesome.
That is rich.
Well, it was $1,800.
Oh, I bet it's higher now.
That's what you're bidding on. Here's the link over here. Hold on, I can click on it.
And like
this
I
is
said,
where let's see what it's up to.
Yeah, like I said,
it's on eBay. Oh my God, 8,600. Sorry, I don't have it in the same tab. Hold on, it opened up a new tab on me here.
It was at 4,700.
There you go.
Started recording.
8,000. 36 bids. Let's take a look at this.
Oh my
That
goodness.
is
Oh my
that
god!
is epic trolling at its finest.
Can you
Oh
can
my
you imagine
god.
starting bid $1,800?
Uh-huh.
Look at that.
But again,
And he's got 4 days. 4 days more.
Over 4 more days. It's like
Wow.
4.5. But like I said, the thing is he didn't have to necessarily go this route. So I
that.
understand the flack coming about it, because this is a very Slott-esque move. But at the same time, again, this is how you troll.
I'm gonna defend him on this one. I don't think this is Slott-esque. I think this is spot on.
But proceeds, again, this is for charity. I mean,
I think the original sin here was somebody trying to correct another artist's artwork, especially comic artwork.
Yeah.
Now, comic artwork is to invoke fantasy. Is to and a lot of it is. I mean, like if you're going to be part of, I'm like John Romita Jr., who we're going to talk about later. He doesn't do proportional art.
No,
he doesn't. If you look at most comic book artists, the art is not. You're not going to have perfect. You're not going to have perfect anatomy, or I'm sorry, realistic anatomy.
The guys don't look like normal.
Yeah, the guys don't look normal. Even Peter Parker doesn't look like a normal. You know how many guys are Peter Parker's like height and weight are that strapped?
And let me add to the point is that it's actually that comic book artists are actually essentially taught to do kind of this exaggerated kind of stuff.
If you
drawing the Marvel way, that's literally telling people, hey, you got to do exaggerated poses because that's how it looks more action oriented and everything catches the eye.
If you want realism, take a damn picture.
Yeah, yeah, true.
I mean, like even if you look at non-comic art, right? Like it's all expression.
Yeah,
like you look at Van Gogh, right? You look at Van Gogh, or you look at
Monet,
Salvador Dali, or any Pablo Picasso.
Even if you go back to the Renaissance era, I mean, if you're looking like stuff like Michelangelo or Leonardo da Vinci, they were exaggerating certain portions. Like Michelangelo deliberately drew the hands larger than the average. Have you ever seen
ancient like prehistory art? From going back 10,000 years to even longer, 50,000 years. Ever see those Venus figures?
Yeah.
Which are ancient representations of women. They all have hips out to here. Yeah. And breasts as big as the body are.
And itty waist. Yeah.
Yes. Yep. Art is. That's just how it is. Art is. It's expression. It's.
And
evocative.
And I agree with that. Like I said, I understand why this was enough, because it had been happening for so long.
Yeah.
It's just more of it's not necessarily what he did, it's just how he came about it should have been a little bit different, because again, it's essentially dunking on some kid, that's just being salty to be salty, because this is one of those people that they'll probably do an online comic. They're never getting hired by Marvel. They're never getting hired by DC Comics.
Well, does this same person have a problem with how Rembrandt or Gainsborough drew somebody?
Probably.
Or is it just comic book artists?
Well, the part of the Tumblr was the comic book artist, but I'm sure that these people also have ideas for everything else. Everybody's going to have an opinion, regardless if it's right or wrong.
Sure.
The issue is how you come across, and this person started it. Don't get me wrong, and I don't think that
this is why I don't have any. This is why now, if it would be different in my mind if this dude had a Tumblr or whatever, and he's like, "Yo, this is my art, check it out," and then J. Scott Campbell found it and then started making shit of it, I would feel completely different on the whole. He's got professional privilege or whatever, or hey, he's got $1 million. No, this dude went out of his way saying, "Yo, this artwork sucks, and this is how I'm going to fix it."
Right. Yeah.
And at that point, I'm like, I'm kind of glad Campbell kicked him in the Tic Tacs over that.
Well, I think had they ultimately, I think would have been better for me, at least I would feel better about fully supporting J. Scott Campbell on this, is instead of going through it and literally picking apart everything else, just redoing the drawing and saying, hey, I actually redid this for you since you were so upset about it. Here's this,
Right.
and I'm gonna go auction this off to help other people. It was the little things about like the perky puppy and how this arm looks like Popeye and other
Oh,
stuff.
yeah.
And so that's the part that I was like,
Too personal of an attack.
yeah, just slightly. That's my only issue.
I mean, how much money has Campbell made off of that cover? Either through like people buying it as
Oh, I know.
posters,
Oh,
or,
I've got
or the licensed products that came off of it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's been,
You know,
it's been
if I'm that dude, maybe, you know, if I'm non-binary, whoever, because I can't remember anything of the name past non-binary.
Finn Martins.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. If I'm non-binary Finn Martins, I'm going to look at that and say, you know what? I disagree with this. This is not my cup of tea. But apparently, a shit ton of people are into this.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so on that level, maybe I don't know what the hell I'm talking about.
Well, I mean, they didn't to begin with.
Muhammad says that J. Scott Campbell's fixed new art. He took the Tumblr post down. So non-binary took it down, I guess.
Maybe. I mean, I'm sure that person was getting a lot of hate in general.
Oh, I bet they were, which is unfortunate. But at the same time, you kicked the hornet's nest,
and you got stoned.
Well, no, I get that part.
Yeah,
I get that part. It's just more of like it's J. Scott Campbell's the higher up here, and it should have just come off a little bit less like he
less
felt
of a
it
personal attack. Yeah.
Yeah, because it felt a little insecure in him ripping apart. But I also, like I said, I understand this isn't the first time. This has been going on for years.
Yeah.
So
it was funny to tie this all into a previous topic. Bruce says, just think of the proportions of the giant Spidey statue with the monks. That's off too.
It is.
Let's see. Matt says, all I really know is J. Scott Campbell is doing covers for the upcoming Spawn comic titles. He's doing covers for everything. Kelly, there's another. Oh, let's check in with the eBay. Has it gone up?
I would love to see this dude tackle Todd McFarlane.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh. By the way, panel, help me remind me next time we do Spider News. I want to see what the final bid is. This ends up. I think that would be very interesting to find what the final bid would be.
Right.
Kelly, there's another J. Scott Campbell.
Oh my God!
Another topic.
I get to talk about boob socks, guys.
More boob socks. Here, let me pull it up. Here we go. Okay.
I don't actually know what Kelly means by boob socks, but I'll just go with it.
Here, go ahead.
People like saying, all right, I think other people call them boob pockets, but essentially, and I have a visual aid right now.
I've heard of boob socks before, by the way. It was not the thing. Yeah.
Okay.
I like calling them boob socks.
I know exactly what
here's your visual aid. We have one. Okay.
No,
so
this will be helpful. Thank you.
This is, of course, by Alex Ross. So, of course, it's Alex Ross boobs, not J. Scott Campbell boobs. But you see how it basically looks like body paint, and it's very clear that these look like
what is wrong with the breasts on that statue?
Because that's not how clothing works.
She's not wearing a bra, clearly. But also, this is not how clothing works. This is not how spandex works. Obviously, this is
not
how
boobs work.
They push them together. A bra pushes it together. They're sitting here. They're just.
She's got traffic cones on her chest.
Madonna was using those last, you know.
Yep.
Yeah.
But anyway, all I'm saying is that's what I mean by boob socks. Because if that was spandex, it would have to be built to literally mold around my boobs if I was wearing it versus.
I gotcha.
Yeah.
So here is
the
the image.
Catwoman got it.
Hang on, hold that bust up again. I'm gonna have to fix that later and send a post off to the.
Again, I apologize for anyone just joining the show hearing that opening quote.
Right.
Hold that bust up again. I need to fix it later.
Look, non-contacts. We started off strong.
I just got a snort out of George.
I didn't even think about it, dude. I mean, literally. Oh my God!
Welcome to Bros Crawlspace.
We're gonna change our name to Spider-Man Boob Socks.
Oh my God! What?
Boob socks.
Okay.
So anyway.
Speaking of bra Crawlspace, I should tell this story. I don't know if I've told this story.
I don't know if you should.
I'm telling this story. It's not that bad. So I got on some mailing list, And I've never had this happen on a mailing list before. It said Wendy Douglas and bra. It cut the D off of me. No, that sounds bad. It cut the D. It cut my D. I mean,
No.
off of
Brad,
Brad.
stop. They left the D off your name. Is what you're trying to convey.
Oh my god. Also, I don't know what I should with.
It's too late to escape now, Kelly.
No,
It's
I'm
on-
looking for my phone because
This
it
is
has my
all-
notes.
Are you trying to call
this
for
is
help?
all the- this is
Yeah.
on
For
the
help.
internet forever,
I need to
folks.
call my mom.
Again, I apologize if that was the opening quote you've ever heard of this show. Mr. Bra is what it said, not Mr. Brad. So, okay. God bless America. Okay. Kelly was talking about boob socks. That would be an example of that is not boob socks. Or it is.
See,
It
here's
is.
the thing. Here's
Oh,
the thing.
God.
Obviously, this story is
Is it bad that I like that?
no. I mean, but they have no shirts.
Yeah.
I mean, like there's belly buttons and everything. That is
No,
just
I
body
get
paint.
you. Yeah, they just no. I see where you're coming from.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's I literally have nothing against the art other than I'm just pointing this out here because
They look
boobs.
naked. Yeah.
yeah,
They're just really tight. Maybe.
I mean, but
But
also
they're made out of
bra?
unstable molecules.
But
Yes, there you go.
again, it's too form fitting, is what Kelly's saying. Is that
Well, it-
that's not how? Yeah,
It's
Yeah.
not how clothes work.
No.
It's literally body paint. That's all I'm saying. But in general, this article is just talking about how they were doing a drink and draw social club
Mhm.
with a couple of artists, and Jason Campbell was talking about a unfinished, unreleased comic book that he had he had done 2 issues on back in 2007, and the
Or
art
6, yeah.
2006, yeah, and
Yeah.
but this is just the artwork he did in 2007. But yeah, so
Yeah.
2006 never saw the light of day, and he kind of insinuated that the reason it never got released and got pushed back had a lot to do with Brand New Day, essentially. I think is kind of what he was hinting at,
And Jeff Loeb,
and-
too.
and Jeff Loeb. But they were showing this artwork from 2007, which brings me from the last story to this one because, if you're going to try and fix comic book art, I would say give those girls a shirt. They look very cold.
Yeah, those girls, yeah.
I vaguely remember hearing something about.
I
this,
remember
years
this, yeah.
ago that J. Scott Campbell was going to do like his original Spider-Man comic book series, and he was showing all the different sketches of this thing.
Yeah, I
And
definitely
it never,
remember.
and again, it never got off the ground. But there was enough of this stuff circulating online at the time to show that, he had to show and proof was like, hey, it's in the works. It's going to be.
Wait, Brad, go back to that. Go back to that.
What,
I mean,
Brad?
I will say this: I love his art.
I do too.
Love
What's-
his faces for.
Scroll down. I'm trying to see what it's written. Okay,
Yeah.
stop. Okay, stop.
Right here?
I'm reading this quote because I saw Mark Millar and I was like, oh hell no.
Oh,
Keep your Mark Millar out of my damn Spidey. And
mean,
Brand Hitch.
it never happened. Well,
Yeah.
it's probably long gone. They've changed locations like 3 times
Right.
by now, but
Okay.
Yeah.
the artwork.
Oh,
in
there's
general-
Norman. I didn't notice that. There's Norman. Oh, look at that.
Yep.
Oh, that
And
looks
that's
weird.
the
JR, do you
wizard.
like Norman looking like that?
He looked an old lady.
What is that?
Also, see, he also needs a shirt. Look at his ass.
It's like it's in
What's
his
Norman?
underwear.
Yeah.
Yeah, he looks like an old lady landlord who's like trying to
Miss Muggins. Miss
had a little
Muggins
too much
got
to drink and is
some-
trying to look sexy for you when you're
Oh
coming
my
up the
God.
stairs.
No.
Oh my god, look at what? What? What?
Oh my
Look at
God!
Ock.
What happened
Just
to Doc?
smoking a cig
Oh my god.
or smoking a cigar.
That is like a Jay Leno chin to the extreme on
Yeah.
Doc
Yeah,
Ock.
little chin.
I mean, look at that neck. It's like they
Oh,
cut
my.
the tip off a wiener and glued a wig to it and then put it.
Again, I apologize if that's. The
I mean, like
opening
a Oscar Mayer Frank, Brad, not a
Oh.
ding dong.
He's got chipmunk teeth and everything. Oh
You
my
got
God.
chipmunk.
Look at those teeth.
It's Doc
does-
Ock chickmunked,
It's
shipwrecked.
it's whatever Alvin the Chipmunk grew up to be on
Mhm.
steroids.
Gosh.
Yep.
JR,
But
you're
anyway-
very quiet. What do you think of boob socks? What do you think of J. Scott Campbell? What do you think of?
Yeah, where do you stand on boob
Where do you
socks,
stand on
JR?
boob socks? Actually,
People got to know.
The internet demands it, you social influencer.
I'd have to. I was about to say before I talk about any of that stuff, I'd probably have to have a Viagra or two.
Oh my God. Okay.
Wow.
Jesus. God dang.
It got worse. It got way worse. It got worse. Oh God, it got
Live,
worse.
and we'll be on the internet forever.
It got
And
worse.
JR. All right. I haven't been looking at chat. I don't know what they've been saying. Spider-Man bra space, the boob space, laugh my effing A, B, C, stop, Brad. Welcome to the Crawlspace After Hour. I am
After
Bra
dark,
Douglas. Ouch,
I am
Brad.
Bra Douglas.
He cut his D off. You should never cut your D unless you're Jewish.
Whoa. Easy.
This is what happens when the review show goes long. Crawlspace After Dark. Some of the MC2 action figures looks like they have body paint.
Yep,
Hold on.
Do you have that, Kelly?
I have all of them. Hold on.
Okay, all right.
Let's see which one I grab from the couch.
What
I can
Did
grab
they-
all of them.
did they? Oh, you got like all of them. Okay. So do
Okay,
they
so-
look like they have body paint?
Yes, they do. Some of them
okay.
even have belly buttons. I think the only one that doesn't is Spider Girl. But there's American Dream. You can see her boobs bolted on. Wild Thing. Her boobs are
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Our girl Mayday.
Yeah.
Her
Yep.
poor spider is being crushed. And this is the one with the belly button. Wasp has a straight up belly button. So
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
if you're in spandex, there shouldn't be a belly button, I feel.
Mhm.
Yeah, they don't do that to the boys. They don't do that to
I
the
mean,
boys.
Well,
sometimes
not
they
as-
do.
not as-
Apparently,
Do they?
like I mean that Green Goblin.
Yeah.
I don't know if was wearing clothes.
It was
That-
wearing
that-
cling wrap.
That Norman looks emancipated, is what Hornacek wrote.
Emaciated, Brad.
Oh, I'm
Not emancipated. He's no longer a slave.
he's emancipated.
Jesus Christ, what is wrong with you? Emaciated.
Oh, brother.
And Lincoln freed the goblins, Brad. What is emancipated?
Norman,
Score,
no longer a
score.
slave. Oh my God, that's funny. Norman
damn.
didn't take his daily goblin formula, is what Reed says.
What is it,
Uh,
Geritol? Is it Goblin Formula Geritol?
Four Power
now?
Packers is who we've been talking about all night. So I can't sleep, and I come back to boob socks and Brad's D getting cut off. Has the crawl space become extremely successful in boob news of comic stories? Is just outrageous fundamentals. Even the host
Fundamentals.
can't keep.
Fundamentals.
Yeah.
It's
Doesn't
late.
every superhero costume look like body paint in some extent? I mean, Iron Man's armor has muscles.
It's just true.
It depends on the artist,
Yeah.
and that's what I'm saying is because like
God, that's
back
funny.
in 2006, 2007, it was very clear that J. Scott Campbell was of the mindset of everything must be body paint.
Yeah.
Versus now, he's switched it up and he's made clothes look like clothes, which is
And-
all I ever ask
Here
for.
we go. Brad
Right.
needs more
And keep
Mountain Dew.
I feel like that's reasonable, Kelly.
And keep in mind,
Cold.
and keep in mind also the 1990s was even more notorious for this because
Lady
I
Death
first heard
and-
the term boot socks when I saw the cover of Catwoman #1.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Jim Ballant. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
Tim Ballant.
Yeah.
Gabriel says Norman needs to eat something. He looks like he's starving. Norman is emancipated from his shirt. 407 goblins ago. Wasp
Yep.
and American Dream have both belly buttons, but so does the Toy Biz exclusive Earth X
I
Venom.
also have her.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I don't know where she went, but I have
Heroing says this episode has officially become a classic. And Matt wants to know how many of us have been drinking tonight? No,
None.
this is a
Not
sober.
me.
This is Coke Zero.
Red
Yeah.
Bull.
Okay, we're moving on from the J. Scott Campbell topic. Mike, I'm excited for this one. Peter David coming back for more Symbiote Spider-Man, but going to the Crossroads. The
Yes,
80s.
and not only just going back to Spider-Man, but also going back to your second favorite character, Brad, which is the Incredible Hulk, because everybody knows that Peter David's Incredible Hulk was one of the best Hulk runs of all time.
Yes.
But I guess because Symbiote Spider-Man was so kind of successful and everything, he figured, hey, why don't just go ahead and continue this, make it kind of like an Untold Tales of Spider-Man thing, except he's going to be in the black costume. And he also kind of talks about how he wanted to have like the Hulk crossover. He all these Hulk stories that he had in mind and he never got around to doing.
Well,
and
this is Matt Lowe's Hulk. This is right before Peter David got on the book. And
Right.
this is when the Hulk lost his mind. And Doctor Strange says, "No, go to the Crossroads." Go.
Right, and because there is a reference here is something about to the current Immortal Hulk run. As would folks know if you've read the Immortal Hulk, the current Hulk is kind of a variation of the Devil Hulk, essentially. And so that's what Jenkins deal. Yeah, and that's what Peter David's kind of. I think what he's alluding to here is that you're going to see if you're familiar with Immortal Hulk, you're going to see a version of that Hulk that kind of calls back to that. So. Right. I doubt it's going to be Joe Fixit or anything like this because if it is tying into this era as this Crossroads stuff with Doctor Strange, I imagine that's what it's going to be.
Right.
But this is basically a chance for Peter David to kind of flex.
And one of my favorite Hulk issues of all time is Hulk 300, where he gets thrown into the Crossroads, and Spider-Man in the Venom suit does make an appearance in that issue. He doesn't do much. Hulk throws some things and people are falling and he gets a web and stops them. And I don't think he actually throws a punch at the Hulk in this.
Right.
But Symbiote Spider-Man is indeed in Hulk 300. So.
Is this going to have that one alien gal with like the weird thing on her head and the flying robot and like, didn't she only have like 2 fingers? What was her name? I can't remember her name. She had like the spaceship.
Oh no, that's a little before this. You're thinking there's like a little gremlin and there's like a little angel kind of thing, and they were Bruce's toys.
No. This was an alien chick.
No, I know. I know exactly who you're talking about, but
what's her name? That's what I'm asking. Because it's driving me nuts. I can't remember.
I'll Google it. Hulk alien girl.
Oh yeah, that's gonna narrow it down.
Oh, that's gonna go down the rabbit hole.
It's
not Jarella. That's not who you're thinking of.
But this is supposed to be like kind of like sort of like a Mindscape thing. I mean, I'm not familiar with too much with the whole continuity as you are, Brad, or something. Yeah. But this is if this is what the Crossroads are supposed to be like the interconnecting point of all different people's psyches or something. Is that what the thing is?
Well, the Crossroads goes into different dimensions. Okay, and that's that, and pretty much each issue from like 300 to like 315. He was in different dimensions. At one point, he was in a giant alien kid's toy room. It was like Hulk meets Toy Story is what it was like. So, and another one, the UFOs came in and fought him at the Crossroads. And the way he got out of the Crossroads was Alpha Flight. Alpha Flight had some kind of thing, and they pulled him in. And that's when John Byrne and
I think Juggernaut was in there at one point.
I can't think of the writer. He was injured. Bill Matlow. That's when they swapped. But I'm excited for this. I know Kelly, when we review these on the satellite, Javi and Neil really don't like it, and I agree. The last 1 or 2 haven't been that great, but this has a good premise. I think. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's interesting. I like the idea behind the concept of the series so far.
Yeah. So, JR, did you read Hulk back in the mid 80s by Matt Lowe? No. Okay. Be Rich. This is the best podcast ever. Thank you, Be Rich. Thank you very much. Hornacek says this is a series of Symbiote Spider-Man's mini turning into a string of Venom minis from the 90s. I could see where you'd say that.
But very again, if you're trying to talk about these, supposed to be like Untold Tales of Spider-Man thing, if you feel like, and if he feels like you can do more stuff with that area, because again, you could do something like, hey, maybe was Spider-Man asleep doing all this stuff? Because there's all those times where Spider-Man was supposedly asleep and doing all that stuff. And
all right, next topic I'm excited for. George, Romita Jr.'s back.
Yes, we don't know when or what on, but yes, he's back. He's come back to Marvel.
Isn't he on Moon Knight?
No, he just did a variant.
This article from Marvel.com specifically goes on to say he's working on something secret, but he's pretty excited about it. I don't know what the last thing he did was. I know he went over to DC and he did that Superman thing that was pretty reviled.
Yeah.
Not because of him, because he's always fantastic. I think that was that the one Straczynski was writing?
No, I think it was Bendis. I think.
No, he didn't do Bendis's work. He did do some of. I think he did do some of Straczynski's or whatever.
Had a big discussion with Bailey on Facebook message about how Superman's been lately.
The last stuff Romita Jr. did, if memory serves, was the solo Cat book and the Avengers with Bendis.
Yeah,
and I guess wasn't Spencer writing the Cat book?
He might have been.
I think that was Nick Spencer writing the Cat book. I could
I tell you though, it would be great to have him. I mean, I like Otley, but Otley's not around every month. And I tell you, we've talked about this before, Brad.
Otley's done. Otley's done.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, he's done.
But John Romita Jr. dude is one of Marvel's long-time heavy workhorses.
Yes.
He and like Sal Buscema back in the day. I mean, they could do 2 books a month.
Yeah.
Right. They had a strong. I'm not going to say today's artists don't have strong work ethics. I'm not saying that, but these two went above and beyond.
Well, the thing is, and chat is talking a bit about it. They say, I like JR, but his current art is pretty rough. His DC fell off. He did Bendis's Action Comics run, is what Powers Packer said. His Superman work was his worst, in my opinion. I like him, but he felt like a wrong somehow.
Okay. All right. Hold up.
Yeah.
They're all saying this, but the issue is I don't think anyone's taking into account the inking and who was in it.
Yeah.
JR benefits from a good inker who understands his art versus trying to quote unquote fix said art like some inkers tried to do. And I think that that's always where it is lacked. And unfortunately with DC, it seems like that's just what they intended to do from the start, was to fix his art. So,
I mean, look at his Spider-Man back here. That looks awesome. I just love that. That looks really cool. And he does a great Hulk too. I mean, but I agree. The art the inker, I can't tell over here. It looks like there's 2 of them, or maybe one's a colorist. Maybe one's a colorist.
Yeah.
But I think that looks okay. I think that looks pretty good.
Yeah.
I will have to disagree with his art on the upcoming Trial of Magneto. The hands on that pose look really bad.
Yeah.
I didn't care for that. Yeah. Oh, there you go. Hold on a sec. Sal Buscema is great, but when he's inked by Sienkiewicz, it looks awful. Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed. Matt wants to know, was it Superman Year 1 with Frank Miller that John Romita Jr. was doing the art, I think? Yeah.
That was it.
All right. JR, that was you yawning?
Yeah, get to it before we check.
Let me get JR. Hold on. There was an article about the musical that you saw, JR, years ago. Talk about that. Turn Off the Dark is not dying.
That song is the best thing in that whole musical. I didn't even hear the other songs in it, but that song.
Well, you didn't miss anything as far as the songs. Yeah, this article, which unfortunately, this article is kind of takes a few cheap shots at the musical, because frankly, it wasn't bad. I mean, when I went to, well, anyway, the story is about actually that a YouTuber is actually collecting just about every piece of video they can find on the Spider-Man musical, both versions 1.0 and 2.0. And most people have been able to see 2.0 either on YouTube or some other video, but footage of 1.0 is very difficult to come by and very rare. And this person has been able to collect some of that. And I haven't. It's one of those things where if I had gotten the notice earlier, I would have been able to sit and watch a lot of them. But I did see a couple of them, and the musical didn't miss anything by them. Artistically, when you look at some of the shots, they look cool, but the songs are awful from 1.0. 2.0.
I mean, JR, at least the Goblin gets the best song in the whole thing.
That is true.
No, he does. In
Freak like
2.0, in 2.0, he does have. He really has about the only good song.
Right.
Some of the others are serviceable, but there's no. The thing is, when I went to see the musical, I saw 2.0. I enjoyed it, and I could tell that the audience enjoyed it. There were a lot of kids; they enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Did it have a lot of problems? Yes. In fact, really, the version that was 2.0 definitely looks like it was a preview version, and it needed another couple of passes. But obviously, for those who remember the whole sordid story of the Spider-Man musical, it was. I don't even know how to describe it. George and I have both read the book, The Song of Spider-Man.
That book is fantastic.
I have it.
It is a must read.
It is
for not only seeing where the Spider-Man musical went wrong, but just how difficult it is to pull off a piece of entertainment like this, and just the utter. If you had any desire to be a Hollywood or a Broadway writer, you need to read this, because that poor guy, he didn't even get paid until the show actually started. So he went like months and months and months without getting paid, and things like his plumbing was bursting and all kinds of stuff. And
visually, this looks cool though. I think
visually,
especially when Spider-Man lands right on the edge, right next to the audience, that looks cool.
I know. In fact, I was sitting in where I was pretty close to that. In fact, before the show started, the ushers would come around and say, oh, by the way, there's going to be like some action here. The show itself is not that bad. It got a lot of flack because of one. I mean, the Broadway people are all a bunch of stuck-up elitists anyway. So anything that actually might be fun is beyond them. But Julie Taymor was the wrong choice for something like this.
So was you too.
No,
was you too.
It was the Edge.
In defense of Bono and Edge,
okay,
they're the ones that wrote that kick-ass Green Goblin song.
But the rest of them I don't care for.
But the problem, the thing is, here's the problem. They never really worked together on the musical. If you read The Song of Spider-Man, anytime there was they were talking about we need to make a change to the script or whatever, Bono and the Edge were never around. Bono was off, the lads, they were off in Europe, or Bono was doing charity work or shaking hands with Obama or something. It was like, whenever, no, seriously, that was it. Everything. I mean, it's like a musical is a musical. You have to have the script and the music have to work together to tell a story. They can't be done. They can't be divorced from each other. Right. And in this case, it was always they were divorced from each other. And then how Bono and the Edge Bono would try to use this poor working class script writer, to try to, tell Julie that her ideas are bad. And it's like, he doesn't have the muscle to tell her anything,
he liked her too much. He kind of idolized her.
And they didn't have the balls to, say, Julie, this sucks, but.
What, Kelly?
No, I was gonna. I mean, basically that the issue is Julie had one win with the Lion King, and she rode that the whole way down, down to the bottom, and she made herself bigger than she was for the Lion King to get this role, and she had no business being where she was for this show.
No, I mean. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Kelly.
No.
It was just, I mean, people were, and this is the thing is, if people are going to go see a Spider-Man musical or a Superman musical, which DC continues to drop the ball on, because that could have been fun too, but DC seemed to insist on it being a dreadful, boring piece of crap. People expect to see a big comic book come to life. They don't expect to see whatever the hell she was trying to do with Arachne and mythology. And I mean, I mean, a music. You would not expect a musical version of Spider-Man to be like a movie version of Spider-Man, and frankly, I like the scene at the beginning with the web, with the Weavers. I thought that was a very well done, clever, way of introducing the. But she had it, But I don't know what her ideas were, but she forgot that she was doing a comic book.
She was just fixated on Arachne after she read Bendis use it in one of the issues of Ultimate Spider-Man. That's all that she had. She only read Ultimate Spider-Man. And so Bendis had an issue where he mentioned Arachne, and she just focused on that like a laser beam.
And trying to tie in the Greek mythology.
And wouldn't let it go. The musical had to be all about Arachne. And the other people around her were trying to tell her, really, no, it's got to be a musical about Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Is the thing. I actually went, this is weird. I actually went back this last weekend, I think. And I went back and listened to us talk about it after I read the book and was talking about that and all the different issues it had. So it's different, or it's weird that it comes back up again for me. It was all very interesting. If you haven't read that book, that book is amazing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and like I said, even if you're not interested in Spider-Man per se, if you're just interested in what can go wrong with something like that. But everything went wrong. I mean, it was way too ambitious. I mean, it was like conceived as like an arena show. It wasn't small enough. It was too expensive. And Lord only knows what their liability insurance was like after the first few accidents. But everybody forgets, people who like to trash this thing, it made $1 million. It grossed $1 million a week for 3 years. Wow. It was a by any other measure except the fact that it cost way too damn much. It was a hit, and so much so. I mean, it only started falling off, I think, when they finally had that last accident where a guy basically lost his leg in one of those stupid trap door things. Then it just started falling, and then it just kind of, I don't know. That was like almost the last straw, but it made. Go ahead.
The entire thing was just very weird in that you had all those for first year and a half. It was preview shows. It was like this is a beta
180
musical.
Previews. They had 180 previews.
This is like a beta musical.
And really, what saved it was they kept running out of money. I think Disney finally saved it after Disney bought Marvel. Disney wrote them a check. Because we can't have this embarrassment. But it's a shame if it had gone through another couple of rewrites. The Green Goblin being a Southerner is stupid. That was beyond stupid. There's no excusing that. He wanted Norman Osborn to be the scriptwriter wanted Norman Osborn to be a combo of Ted Turner and the Klan. And it's like,
wow.
Well, George, isn't that right? Essentially, it was like he thought Ted Turner and the Klan.
That is true. That is true. And the part about him being Southern was true. They did not understand Norman at all.
No,
not one bit.
Norman was going to have a sex with Arachne at one time too. I think.
Yeah. No, I thought that was supposed to be Spider-Man. I thought it was supposed to be Spider-Man.
I mean, these things. I mean, constantly all kinds of things. I mean, it's amazing, really, that it came out of it was actually a pretty entertaining piece of work.
If it had been anybody but Julie Taymor in charge of it, the producers would have stopped it already.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well,
and forced it to change.
Bruce has a question about the Spider-Man Stunt Spectacular that went around the country in 2003. I never saw it. I don't even think I heard of it, Bruce. Oh, you saw it, Kelly?
Yeah.
What was it?
I mean, it was a stunt spectacular.
I
barely remember. I'll be honest. I barely remember it. I think it was because it was like an arena tour kind of deal, and
it's like Sesame Street Live, only Spider-Man Live.
Yeah, I want to say we went.
The Teenage Mutants coming out of our shell.
Yeah. So I want to say that it was something we went to at school, like at the Macon Coliseum at one point. But like all I remember is there were stunts. Yeah. There was a field trip. Spider-Man was involved. There were lights.
I didn't have to do math.
Yeah. Didn't have to do math homework. I mean, who knows? Maybe it was filmed So
There
maybe
you go.
some of Spider-Man's filmed at the Coliseum at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when I get the opportunity, I'm going to go back and watch as many of those videos as I can. I mean, like I said, it gets a lot of unfair flack because it wasn't everybody. People thought about it wasn't the final version was not a disaster. The final version, although it had a lot of problems, was still a very entertaining night at the theater. It really was.
Now,
I mean, and from a guy who grew up a redneck and didn't have any appreciation for music until my daughter and both my kids or whatever got into music and musicals, and so that kind of forced me to take another look at the art form.
Jared and Cotton with a lot of that culture nonsense.
Yeah, well, to be honest, I didn't. And then watching my daughter perform and just seeing how the sheer athleticism, when you grow up in a small town, and, everything's whatever, you think athletics, you don't think that the arts, you disparage those. But, when you actually watch people in the theater work, and you see how hard they work, and you see the sheer athleticism, you just, really you learn to appreciate it. And but no, the Spider-Man musical was a fun, and Joe Allen, who is he passed away recently, was a famous restaurateur in New York, and he had a flop wall, for example, and this was the final word on the Spider-Man musical, a flop wall of just ignominious Broadway flops. And he asked when Spider-Man closed, "Are you gonna put that on your flop wall?" And he said, "No, I'm not." He said this show gave thousands of people or hundreds of people, I think he might have said thousands, but because it takes a lot of people to do employment for 3 years. He said it was not a flop. It was not a flop.
If you lived.
No.
The fact is, it cost $75 million. That was a thing to put it on for all kinds of stupid, incompetent reasons.
Right.
But no, it wasn't. It could have been better. It should have been better. But ultimately, it was still a fun time at the theater. So take it with take what you read with a grain of salt.
Pinkman says Kelly's enthusiasm about the Spider-Man stunt spectacular says it all.
Yeah.
Look.
What if
When
there's
you were
pictures
12,
of that?
probably, but when you're 12 years old and you get a day off school, that is everything.
Yep.
It's just my brain also associates anytime we went to go see stuff like that with a time someone did a bomb threat on a Barney on ice, and we all had to sit in the parking lot for hours. So I have mixed feelings about anytime I had to go to a Coliseum situation.
At 12, they literally could have driven you past a junkyard and you would have been.
One of my favorite field trips was
because you weren't in school.
We went to the Hostess Bakery, and we saw how Twinkies were made.
We weren't allowed near food or machinery.
So Kelly, not only are there images.
Uh-oh.
There's a video at Radio City Music Hall. The Spider-Man stunt spectacular. There he goes.
Yeah.
Let's take a look. Is that there? There's the Goblin.
Yeah.
There's the Goblin. There he goes.
Oh, at least they are having.
Oh, he's got a glider.
Oh wow, he's got a glider even.
Look at that.
This looks familiar. I think I posted clips of this on YouTube at one point, and I just forgot about it.
I've never heard of this.
Or
Look
a
at him
GIF,
go.
maybe.
Right.
Because I remember the stick fight.
Ooh, cool.
Oh, this is awful music. Is this Nickelback?
Yeah, this is basically early 2000 butt rock.
Oh, wow. Look at him go.
Basically.
Go, Spider-Man. Michael Reed says he had a field trip to the supermarket. Power Packers went to Niagara Falls. Kelly had a cooler field trip, it looks like. Oh, look, he's in the wrestling ring.
Ooh, the wrestling.
Hey,
yeah.
We used to also get field trips to choir trips to Universal and Disney. So
ooh, that Norman looks cool.
That'll lead into a story a little bit later.
Okay, so at least they do have actual guys doing some actual stunt work on this thing. So I'm probably sure the story is all non-existent, but I mean, at least you're seeing. I mean, but there is kind of it looks like there was almost like a video side-scrolling video game aspect to it, and some of those things because some of those look like those Super Mario Brothers fights for some reason. I don't know.
Good old-fashioned stick fight.
Oh, there's Oh no, it's the Bendis Goblin.
Oh, yikes!
Isn't it?
Yeah.
That looks like Shrek. The Shrek Goblin.
Spider-Man versus Shrek.
The Shrek
Peter.
Goblin.
What else
But
we got
yeah,
down here?
it is
I'll
kind of cool
fast
that
forward a
they've
little bit. Oh, look, he comes out to the audience. Did he swing over your head, Kelly?
No, I mean,
Oh,
Ow!
yep. It looks like he's got some
There's Norman.
wrestling thing going on. Oh, rescuing or fighting bad guys, and
Well, there you go, Bruce.
yeah.
Thank you. I have now seen that.
Yep. I mean, it was cool. I mean, and these are these things happen. I mean, there's even Marvel Live.
These things happen.
Wait, Kelly, did you like the Spider-Man?
Well,
Stunt
things happen.
spectacular? These things happen.
I think these things happen.
I mean, they have traveling theater stuff all the time,
Like
and
a one-star Yelp review. These things happen, you know. Oh, it's Circus de Spidey. Yeah. Bruce, that was good. Victim. No, it's based on the movie Green Goblin. Okay, I
Parts
see.
of it was
Yeah.
actually were.
Yes, Bruce, these things happen. There you go. So let's follow these things happen with Donut Spider-Man. George,
Hey!
take me to Donut Spidey.
Wait, I have this one?
You do.
Yeah.
I thought I only had the cake one. Did I miss one?
You are the
It's
baked
kind of
goods
related to
segment
the cake one.
this month,
Yeah.
man.
Oh, I'm just gonna wing it. Yeah, so COVID sucks and it's keeping a lot of us in. Tubby Chibi Spidey went to Dunkin' and got some donuts for
In
some
the
orphans.
Philippines. Yeah.
In the Philippines.
So
where
maybe he
COVID
stopped
is
by that.
bad.
Did he stop by that giant Spider-Man statue by the Buddhist temple before he got the
Oh,
donuts?
maybe.
'Cause-
Possibly.
Wait, hey,
Oh,
hold
that
on,
was
hold on.
Thailand.
Whoa. Scroll back up,
Okay.
Gemma. Let's look at the donuts. Let's get a donut reading here.
What does Spider-Man pick from
I see a
Dunkin'?
chocolate cream filled. I see
Mhm.
looks like
Yeah.
chocolate coconut.
Yeah.
I don't know what that green one is in the upper corner. What is that?
It's
Green
probably
tea?
yeah, maybe it's some ginseng.
Pistachio?
Well, that's
we
probably
were-
the Green
Matcha?
Goblin donut.
The panel is very distracted by the donuts, and Bruce has a legitimate question. Why are
What?
they keeping kids in cages?
I think they're probably
Trust me. Until they get older, that's the safest place for both them and you to be.
Oh,
I think
No.
some of these kids are probably like in a school or something like that.
Oh,
Yeah.
The
so
gates
that's
are
your front
closed
gate.
for
Yeah.
like security
Okay.
or something.
Yeah,
Right.
there you go.
But yeah, you can see COVID's clearly happening.
Right.
Yeah.
People have their
Oh.
the chibi Spidey looks bigger in these
Whoa.
pictures.
That's a big jump.
Because look at this
Yeah, it is.
dude, and then scroll back up and look at that donut picture again.
Yeah,
It
it's the
does. It looks
perspective-
like a
it's the
chibi
perspective
Spidey.
now. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
look
the
at that.
perspective of the
Remember, Brad, we
camera,
used to like the
Yeah,
little
yeah.
fat Spideys we used to
Yeah.
make fun of on the Ultimate
Yeah.
Spider-Man
Ultimate
cartoon.
Spider-Man show.
Yeah.
It looks
So
like
that's
it's
the
almost
story from the Philippines. Spider-Man's giving out donuts.
Like, Mhm.
Yay! Hey kid, need a donut?
Yeah.
Why yes, Spider-Man. Is the Green Goblin one taken? Why yes, it is.
Spider-Man,
I
how
will-
did you know? I was just sitting here thinking, man, I wish Spider-Man could bring me some donuts.
I
wish
will
Spider-Man-
say the costume does look slightly better than the giant statue one. Although he does have those, you
Yeah.
know, I mean, it is that's like
It's more like
not
an
too bad.
Earth X Spidey.
Look at
Yeah, a
the
little
dog
bit.
over here. The dog is
Yeah.
suspicious. Look at this suspicious dog over in the corner. He's like, who the hell's this guy?
No,
I think
he's
he just
looking at
wants
the
a donut.
donut and on
Yeah.
the ground between her legs.
Oh,
You
he's
can
looking
see
for
part
donut
of it. You can see
scraps.
part of the donut laying on the ground
Okay.
that somebody did
All
not
So,
carefully
yes.
eat in time.
So there you go. A lot of prep time on that one. A lot of prep time.
Okay. We've got comments. Spider-Man gets a jelly donut, no doubt. Wasn't Philippines featured in previous Spider News? Was this the country where the president gave away spider towels?
It was
Yeah.
Spain.
It was. JR, you had that, didn't it? Spider towel, Spider-Man.
Well, I think that was Spain. I thought.
Oh.
I thought that was Spain as well.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Sorry,
Now
hold
I
on.
had Flower Spider-Man.
That's
You
right.
had
know.
flowers.
Mm.
Matt says this must have been a Spidey goodwill tour after invading the Norman Osborn ruled nation during Slott's run.
There you
No,
go.
no, that was.
Oh, yeah. Bruce says that
Symbiote.
dang dog was in the video of the statue too.
It's the dog. The dog is behind all the Spider-Man stuff.
I know,
That's right.
and
That's
the
the new
costume looks
villain.
better than the statue.
It does. I said it
It
does.
does.
I mean, Yeah. It's actually somebody who put some legit work into that. So,
all right.
And a love of hamburgers.
yeah, right.
Okay. As if one baked good Spider-Man story was enough, we have two. Hold on. Let me pull it up. All right. This just looks odd, but it's Spider-Man related.
Oh,
What?
All right. Here we go. Go, George.
I was waiting for you to play that, for just playing the clip. I'm not going to talk over that.
Okay, we'll watch the clip.
oh, it's a TikTok.
And for the audio listeners, it's based.
Oh, you have to follow the scene to finish cake.
All right,
So it looks like it exploded.
All right, so let me step in here, Jomo, since this is actually the one that I actually prepped for.
Okay.
All right, so the Instagram is Cake Anything Lara Mason.
Okay.
Or I think it may be Lara Mason is her name, and then Cake Anything is the I don't know, maybe I don't know if it's a business she runs or what, but on her Instagram, on her gram, as the kids say.
Yeah.
She posts a lot of this really cool stuff with cakes. I was looking at this earlier today. She made a cake of kids eating cake next to the kids that were going to eat the cake.
Yeah.
Right. Like, I mean, it got meta, right? It was interesting.
Oh, wow, look at these cakes.
Oh yeah. No, she is highly skilled. She is very skilled.
Oh, like that face.
She does bunnies. They're stitched. She did like a big complicated one with like Woody and Jessie from Toy Story. There's the ones of the kids eating the cake.
Look at the kids eating cake.
If you click on that, there's like
kids. They are cake. This was my kid's first birthday cake.
Kids probably.
Cake.
The kids are cakes. Yeah.
Birthday cake.
The kids are cakes.
Cake.
All right, you can shut it off now. I can't hear myself talk.
Oh, that's so cute.
Okay.
So she decided to make a Spider-Man cake hanging upside down. Wow. Unfortunately, it's the crappy MCU Spidey costume. So it makes me think somebody probably ordered it for a kid who doesn't know that that's that's an inferior costume. Mm-hmm. So she showed the process not only in that video that we saw earlier with the music playing, but she also shows a few pictures of it, like cross sections, because clearly this is not something you just throw in the oven.
No,
this is something where you make the cake and then you have to apply it like a structure.
Yeah.
Right.
Wow.
To like a wire frame,
Yeah.
And pray that the top half doesn't
it all
fall
holds
off.
together.
Yeah. So very skilled.
Oh, sorry.
And that's okay. That's okay. Does anyone recognize that song? Go ahead and play it again, Brad.
No.
No, go ahead and play the song.
In my house.
It's a crappy remix of a fantastic 80s song called "In My House." Brad, kill the music.
If I can.
Just close it off. Yeah, just close
There
it.
it goes. There it
There you
goes.
go. Okay. So it's a remix of a song from of a great song from the 80s called "In My House" by anyone know?
I don't.
By the Mary Jane Girls.
Oh, there's the connection.
And that's why you pay me the big bucks, Brad.
The Mary Jane Girls. Nice.
So if you get a chance, go look at her page, because there's a lot of stuff that is there just really interesting and like, wow. I'm someone who appreciates cake art because I appreciate cake. Just in general.
Yeah. Has she been in any kind of competitions at all or anything like that? Because
I have no idea. There's a website. I guess you could go to the website.
Let's take a look at her website.
Because I mean,
she's also on the TikToks, kids.
Yeah, but
she's
that
also on
is
the
quality looking work that she's doing. I mean, this is basically you could just say it's sculpture at this point.
Yeah.
I don't have the talent nor the patience to do what Miss Laura.
Go back. There was like one where it was like a whole, but it was like a full size dude. Did you see that?
Yeah. It was a full size Megan.
It was like a man and woman version that she put together. And I don't know if that was supposed to be.
Oh my gosh, that's Prince Harry.
Oh, that's terrible. I would like to eat Meghan Markle's face off of her.
Stop! Wow.
Wow.
At least you said face though, because we've had too many out of context quotes tonight.
That's
Or I
crazy.
feed it, or I put it in the woods and watch animals eat it.
Oh, we got
Good gosh.
what's
Wow.
his name? Rabbit, Peter Rabbit.
Peter Palmer says, coming in late. See, you're glad. Boy, do you have something to listen to later, Peter Palmer.
Oh, yeah.
You do.
Yeah,
Uh,
things got weird tonight.
Vinkman, yeah, I need to control the volume button. When I hit play, I'll try.
Yeah,
There's
that was a big thing because when it's not just Brad.
Celine
That is-
Dion? What?
I'm sorry. Never
Wait.
mind.
Celine Dion?
All right. It's not just Brad on the volume thing. On that Instagram, that clip of the Mary Jane Girl song was very loud to the point because I was still trying to recover from my headache. I'd just taken aspirin and I was like, well, I guess I better get ready for this. Boom, boom, boom. I was like, oh, Christ, I'll never hear again.
Oh, no.
What's happening to my head?
Okay. Let's see. Let me pull up the other thing. Let's see if we've got some comments. 33,000 followers on her cake.
Yeah.
You need an engineering degree to get that cake built.
Yeah.
Have you guys seen the Netflix show Nailed It? I think that's
Yes.
what my cakes would look like. There's another spider push-up instant classic. There you go. So JR has this next one. Let me get the video queued up.
These things happen.
I think I've seen this.
JR doing news. These things happen.
All right, JR, are you ready for a Goblin story?
Yeah,
Here you go, buddy.
This is
Go.
a different one. I don't know where this is, but it's basically, it looks like a guy has taken a drone and he has, I don't know, gussied it up to where it supports his weight, but he's basically turned it into a glider.
Yep.
He's got a little
And-
remote in his hand, I see.
Now, I don't know where this is because it looked like it was, some of the foliage made it look like it was in California or something.
Yeah,
it does.
these streets
This
look like that.
This looks like it's this looks like it's in the LA area.
Yeah,
Look
it
how
could-
cool that looks.
Yeah, basically it's like a big drone, but it just, you got to admire the
Can you
ingenuity.
imagine seeing that driving by it?
I mean, it is LA, so
Now, wasn't there something like this similar to like a couple of years back where the guy
In
did-
France,
Oh,
yeah,
in
somebody
France.
over, somebody in France or whatever had a glider, it didn't quite look like that. I mean, that looks
Right.
like a refitted drone.
Drone, yep.
But that guy actually had something that did look like a glider. But I tell you, we're getting closer, folks.
I tell you what,
Closer.
we are
It's
closer
not
to
Jurassic
Norman.
Park, JR.
Science,
But
Norman will find a way, just like science.
but yeah, I mean, looking at this thing, there's definitely. I mean, this looks like this is it's actually going some distance and everything. It's not like it's because it probably can't go any higher than that because
We've
of
seen
the
turn.
How
He had-
brave
he
that
had to
dude
turn.
is. I would be so scared.
He's just going straight. He can't turn.
Oh yeah, he
How's
can't
he
turn
supposed
on
to
that
fight
thing.
off 10 cops that way?
Yeah,
Yeah, I agree, Gabriel. That does look
Listen to me. I'm
unsafe.
such an asshole. This is actually really damn cool, and I'm like, well, he can't turn.
well, no, he can't. But it's the fact that he can get off the ground and go like several blocks.
He's gonna beat himself on a
Yeah.
street light. Look at that.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
He's also a skinny dude. Like
Yeah.
a drone could probably lift that little guy.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
No drone is going to lift
Looks
me.
like-
Yeah, I figure I'm like a 3 drone minimum.
You're a
looks
3
like-
drone man.
Yeah.
he looks like weighs less than I do, and I'm 150 pounds. So I mean,
Matt
and
says,
all
I
of
wonder how legal that thing is to fly through the city. Probably
Probably
not.
not.
Probably
Bruce
not.
is-
Oh yeah,
Bruce
the
says
cops
the
would totally
same.
shoot that guy.
Yeah.
oh no.
Well, I mean, he looks like a supervillain. They're gonna be like, holy, dispatch, we got a supervillain coming down.
coming down the street.
La Cienega. Can I get some backup out here?
Can you imagine
We got a
rolling
Green
up on this-
Goblin on Cahuenga.
Can you imagine seeing that? Okay. Whoa, we got comments really coming
Wow.
in now. Hold on.
Mhm.
Back to the Future Part 2 told us we'd have hoverboards in 2019, so this is good
That is
progress.
true.
True?
The only way I know those LA street names is because I listen to a shit ton of Dragnet, the old radio show.
Mhm.
Ah,
Yeah,
yep.
that's the only way I know those street names.
Looks like he would get hit by a car if not careful. Now that we
Possible.
just need the spots portal technology from that 90s show.
Oh no.
That
No.
song that
That
was playing in the video is performed by a group called the Harry Osbournes.
Is it really? Is it really for
Porn
sure?
is
That,
come on.
that can't
What?
be. That can't be
They're-
right.
No, it's
That's
I'm trying to think of the band name. They're from Florida.
sounds
It's a
like
ska
the-
band.
The
It
Harry
sounds like
Osborn
it's
sounds like
Goblin.
some Australian slang for your junk.
Mhm. Yeah.
I kicked him in his Harry Osborns. Yeah.
Now that's a goblin. Now-
It does.
I hit him in his Harry Osborn. Is what you said.
I took a
right,
shot
what
to the
was
Harry
it?
Osborns. Pass me the koala on the Bobby.
You know, now my minstrel syndicate doesn't sound so bad, does it, Brad?
Well, you started the night off.
I don't know.
And my
Harry
God,
Osborns
has
is
it
pretty
just
cool.
declined? Oh my God. Gabe wants to know how many bands are named after. Well, there's the Mary Janes.
No. There's the Mary Jane Girls.
The
Yeah.
Mary
Yeah,
Jane
but
Girls.
in
Girls.
Spider Girl, there's the Mary Janes. She's in
They're
a
not
band. And
real.
They're not a
The
real
Mary
band,
Jane
though.
Girls are not named after Mary Jane Watson. I
Okay.
guarantee you. They're
That's
not.
probably-
next thing,
it's probably
next thing you
weird,
know,
yeah.
we'll be saying
Yeah,
that
it's probably we. Right.
next thing you're going to say that the Beatles are basically named after the Beatle, I guess now, right?
The Sinister Six as a band. Who is on what instrument?
Doc Ock is on drums.
Doc Ock's
'Cause he
drums.
has-
Yeah,
Yeah.
Because he's got to do all
Yeah.
that stuff. All the
Jesus.
electro's on the electric guitar.
electric guitar.
Oh, but then he would be Killer what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Mysterio probably can do like all the fog and lighting effects when they have to do the stage
Oh
thing.
yes, Bruce. The
Craven the
web
Hunter is
spinners.
definitely the singer because he's
Web
basically
Spinners
looks
was
like
the name of
Freddie-
the group on the
especially
Rock
looks like
comic.
Freddie Mercury.
Right over.
McNulty's
Yeah.
still trying to answer your last question, Brad.
Let's see. Also the
Don't want to get
the
kicked in my Harry Osborn.
Sandman. Yeah, Sandman's the roadie. Yeah,
These things happen.
yeah. These things happen, right, Brad?
You get kicked in your Harry Osborn. These things happen.
These happen. That's gonna be how we can grade reviews from now on. These things happen.
Yeah, that's a great excuse. We go from A to F now to these things happen or kicked in my Harry Osborn.
These things happen. Oh. Howard Tucker says the name of his high school band was the Scarlet Spiders.
There you go.
Osborne's the band manager. Craven lead singer.
Jolly Jonas. I was lead singer for
And
the
Harry
Jolly Jonas.
Osborne was kicked in the stunt spectacular.
These things happen.
These things happen.
These things happen. There's the quote, boys and girls. All right. Oh. If only we had another show to go to. But no, this one's unlimited. All right. Let's follow
We still
that
have
up.
stories.
Let's follow that up with a Slott story.
Because these things happen.
Talk about kicking Harry Osborn.
We got kicked in the Harry
Here
Osborne.
comes
Someone
some
who
Dan
deserves
Slott
to be kicked in
news.
the Harry
Oh
Osborn.
God! Who's got this one? Oh, Mike.
I do.
Mike,
I
you've
don't
got
know why.
Flame On, the
Yeah.
biggest change to the FF since #1. Says
Right.
Slott.
I think the only reason I got this is because of Slott and
Jesus.
everything like this. But apparently, yes, this is supposed to be like something involving the Fantastic Four, like a character is going to change forever, involving somehow Doctor Doom's responsible. So there's three theories about what this could mean.
And we're covering
One-
this it's on Spider News because Johnny Storm is his best friend in the
Yes.
superhero
One of his
universe.
best friends, yeah.
Yeah.
But there's three possible theories what this could mean.
Okay.
One, he like to quote Gary Grant, he becomes gay all of a sudden.
That's actually where the money's on, I think, right now.
Flame
Yeah.
On is a term.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. It is. Yeah. But Kelly,
My theory is he will get a child.
I was actually going to say that it was going to be the second theory because there is a storyline, and I think and that's what this article originally from Bleeding Cool is kind of like hinting at it, but not exactly saying it outright. Is that Ben Grimm and Alicia Masters, who apparently did get married finally, they adopted a Skrull baby.
Yeah.
And the Skrull baby kind of remembers Alicia Masters, but not really because she recognized, because if you recall in the Fantastic Four run, Johnny Storm's, when he supposedly married, when he supposedly married Alicia Masters, it was actually is it pronounced Elijah or Elijah?
I think Elijah.
Kelly?
Elijah
Laserfist.
Laser Fist. Yeah.
So the Scroll Baby child, I forget her name, was basically saying, "Oh, I recognize Alicia because that's what Elijah made herself look like, Alicia." So the theory is, and I think Kelly's agreeing on it, is that the Scroll Baby is actually Johnny Storm and Elijah's child. That's what's going to be the reveal is, and the Flame On is going to be like, oh, she suddenly has flame powers that she's going to exhibit. Like something's going to happen.
But I think he's out of child support land because he was with her in the 80s.
Right, we're talking about alien babies.
Alien babies, dude.
I don't really think child support applies here.
Well, I don't think Johnny has to pay child support.
But remember in the early '90s story, where they're trying to carry that off. And I think it was Tom DeFalco's run. They were kind of hinting that maybe Elijah could be pregnant. But then they try to say like, oh, it wasn't really her, really pregnancy.
Then they didn't want to have to do a Torch clone saga.
Yeah, but that was.
Can you imagine Allison Morgan taking Mayday and the Elijah baby and just taking them somewhere?
Right.
Yeah.
Well, in MC2 they do have a kid named Taurus.
Yeah.
Elijah got with Johnny in MC2, didn't he?
That's right.
Married. Yeah. They're married.
Married. Yeah. There you go.
Yeah. And so that's what one of the speculations is that the adopted baby is actually Johnny's biological daughter. And then the third theory is that
Johnny Storm, you are the father.
I guarantee you that's better than what Slott will do.
Yeah,
I'll give you that.
The third theory is that Johnny Storm is going to flame on permanently. Like he cannot shut the flames off, that he's going to be stuck in that form.
I feel like that's
but I think what she's already done, I don't know.
I feel like
it's been done.
Which one do you think it is, Mike?
I'm going with Kelly's theory. I think the first one about the idea that he could be like suddenly become bisexual. I think that sounds very kind of like, oh, that's going to be like newsworthy attention type of thing. I'm not sure they could do the same thing there because let's face it, Johnny Storm has a
I'm about to say Torch is a lot harder sell than Iceman was.
Yeah, very much so.
The Torch loves women.
With Iceman, they were trying to make
but that's not going to stop Slott. I mean, Slott thinks,
Well, yeah, but again, they're trying because they figure they want to try to do more inclusionary stuff here with the Fantastic Four. But
go ahead.
What were you saying, Kelly?
Can I a little Slott rant here? And this is something
we don't do that here, Kelly. I don't know where you've been.
I know.
Well, this time we'll allow it. Yeah, go ahead.
Thank you.
These things happen.
But on Twitter, because I have not followed Slott's run of Fantastic Four, but a lot of people, a lot of trans community, just all of the LGBTQ, they really, really associated Franklin with a lot of certain qualities in that.
Oh, I've heard about this. Yeah.
And what he did, there's something he did with Franklin that pissed them off. And I'm talking about, you've got 18, 19, 20, these kids basically, they have literally decided to make Slott's Twitter life hell and troll him quite frequently because of this. And he just increasingly keeps building that cesspool of like hate at him.
But this is Slott. This is the same backyard, isn't it? Aren't they supposed to be on like all the same side?
Well, the
that's
reason
what he wants you to believe, but he doesn't know what he's talking about. And so if he does make him bisexual, he is ultimately going to piss more people off.
Right.
And he has a track record of not sticking to what the voice of the character.
And the controversy that Kelly that you're talking about is what happened is that basically Franklin Richard for years was thought to be a mutant. But then Slott came on and says, well, no, not really. It was some kind of that he just made himself into one.
It's interesting. Slott's been
made himself into
one.
Okay, whatever.
Slott's been on the Fantastic Four for 30 issues, and in those 30 issues, there's going to be 2 weddings.
Yeah.
So Ben and
Alicia Master.
Alicia, that's okay. But Doom and whoever,
a long time coming anyway.
That's weird. By the way, this just in, J. Scott Campbell is selling digital prints of how many times Slott has blocked people on Twitter, including the Crawlspace. So if you would like to print that off, $100 will go to charity. Go ahead.
All right. So getting back to the Human Torch thing, when I first saw this, number one, it's Slott, and I'm going off of what Slott has injected into Peter during his run as Peter Parker. Remember that one time when
he's what
Max injected himself into. Oh God! Stop.
yeah.
All right. So I kept thinking back to that Max Modell wedding. Remember?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
When Max Modell married his partner, and Peter's dialogue was, "This is the happiest day of my life."
Oh yes. Good God.
And we were all like, "Oh, okay,
Really?
this dude that you've known for what, a couple months. This is your big day. All right." So my number one thing was he'll make Johnny gay. And as we've pointed out before, that's a harder sell for Johnny Storm. But Slott doesn't write characters with he doesn't write them properly as they've evolved over time. He writes them for the story, for whatever he wants it to be.
True.
So A, I figure he's either gay, or B, he's transitioning, will change his pronouns, whatever.
But you got to remember,
because it's Slott. Only because that's the only reason I'm saying that's because it's Slott.
Supposedly, Dr. Doom is responsible for whatever.
Dr. Doom uses a new ray gun on him that makes him change his pronouns.
Just loves the men.
Yeah.
Okay, we're going that.
Or gives him all the sex parts or whatever.
He just loves Harry Osborn's. So,
assuming he's already got
the new power couple, Kindred and Johnny Storm.
We have two more topics. By the way, JR, we didn't hear your thoughts about Johnny Storm. What are your thoughts? What's going to happen to Johnny Storm?
Here we go. This ought to be good.
Okay, hold on. Brace for impact. Brace for impact. Here we go.
He's already going to go.
Okay, hold on. Well, while you're breathing, okay, go ahead.
It's like he's releasing pressure. It's like somebody turned a valve.
Go, JR. What is going to happen to Johnny Storm?
I don't know.
Well, that's anticlimactic.
Anything I was thinking probably couldn't be printable.
Yeah.
Luckily, we're not in print.
Yeah, we're just on the internet forever, folks.
Anime Hunter has a good equation going here. Slot equals plot is greater than character.
We've always said this though about Slot.
Yeah.
We've said this going back for many years on this show.
Yeah, and I've actually said this on another podcast before when it was talking to another podcast. Is Slot writes comics like if they're like a board game, like basically everything's on like a predetermined path, and you can't deviate from that path. No matter what. So, but
all the comments are saying I was blocked by Slot. I was blocked by Slot. Yeah. So everybody's blocked. Kelly's blocked by Slot. Yeah.
We need jackets.
Yeah.
My mom got blocked by Slot.
Your mom was blocked by Slot.
She's not even on Twitter.
That should be our T-shirt.
Yeah, I was blocked by Slot. We meet on Thursdays. Okay, Kelly's got the next. We have two more news topics after this, and then we're wrapping it up. Kelly has a cosplayer doctor story.
Yes. So this doctor, and I need to go back to my notes. Jennifer Thompson. So Dr. Thompson is basically a Spider-Man suit to visit pediatric kids in her unit. She normally handles
Here she is.
gas stational issues. So a lot of times it's more like the celiac kids and stuff like that. But she will also go to the pediatric ICU and the chemotherapy unit and visit small children. She started this when she was in medical school as a kind of jokey Halloween thing while she was doing her rounds. But through donations and other kind gestures, she has been able to upgrade her suit so she can easily see the kids better. And in here, she just talks about how she, when they're little, they're starstruck because they don't realize that this is a girl or a boy. They just see Spider-Man and obviously are just excited to see Spider-Man. And she was actually given a teaching award, which is why this article was written, because she was doing so great. And so they call her Dr. Spidey.
Oh,
does she have boob socks?
No boob socks. I don't think that's allowed for children under 5.
Right.
Under 5.
Right.
Here's video of her. Look at her. That is so sweet to do.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah,
that is such a neat thing.
Well,
Aww.
I mean, so obviously we haven't been able to go out to visit kids. But I actually, over this pandemic, didn't realize that there were actually kids that even knew who Spider-Girl was. But there are, and I've done a few videos for them. And there really is just something special about visiting these kids.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and especially taking the time actually to go into the extra mile to kind of do this and try to connect with kids this way, and to try to help try to make them because obviously when you're going to having some kind of a medical thing, you're going to even adults are kind of we freak out about it, like what's going to happen, and so this is a very kind of calming influence, especially for children.
It takes their mind off of being in the hospital.
And it kind of reassures them that, hey, it's okay, it's all right. I mean, this is that there's nothing to be afraid about. This, what you're going through and stuff like that.
We've done stories in the past. The window washers that dress up as Spider-Man and go out and clean the windows at children's hospitals. It just goes to show you. I mean, Spider-Man is everywhere, and even helping little kids that are sick. And a doc that dresses up like that. That's so nice.
Yeah.
So
speaking of kids not knowing who Spider-Girl is, I know one kid in particular who knew who Spider-Girl was, and that was Ava Douglas. And Ava Douglas didn't give a shit because she wasn't Wonder Woman. Isn't that how that played out, Brad?
Yeah, pretty much, dude. Yeah, hadn't changed much either. Yeah.
Okay, that's okay. Wonder Woman's cool.
Well, I mean, I took her to the Wonder Woman movie, and she wanted those bracelets.
Oh, so she can repel you backwards.
so she can block the bullets when you fire them at her, Brad.
Well, I think web shooters were right beside the bracelets, and she went for the bracelets. Yeah.
Oh,
which is kind of like Wakanda Forever too, if you do.
Yeah, a little bit.
It is.
Yeah. Oh, look, that was neat. So she's in Miami.
She's in Miami.
Yeah. If you want your heart ripped out of your stomach, the best place to go is to a children's hospital.
Oh my God, I know.
You will cry and cry and cry.
When I was a reporter, I went and followed Santa that went to the NICU, and he got little pictures with the babies, and it was so sweet. And these parents, I can't imagine your heart getting ripped out like this, and what they've gone through, etc. So, bravo to that doctor, Miss. No relation to Flash Thompson.
No.
She is a hero in her own right, I thought.
She is.
So we are ending with Kelly. Also, we're also going. Well, no, we're going to California for this story.
Yeah,
this is Disneyland.
So we're going. We're going to talk about the false Spider-Man ride.
Okay, the false Spider-Man ride. Okay.
Really?
Yes, because the original is in Florida, and it has my heart, and it's never
Universal.
Universal. This is never going to compete. But Disneyland is doing an Avengers Campus, and they are planning on opening on June 4th. So it is less than a month away now, and they've already shown off the suits. They've shown off the updated food menus. They're doing stunts and stuff, although that looks slightly CGI.
Yeah, I think he swings over your head, Spider-Man.
Yeah, but I don't think that I don't know if that's a real stunt performer or not. But anyway, so they are doing a bunch of different Avengers things. So this world is actually going to be a multiverse. It's not connected to the movies, and they did that so that way all the characters can stay there, and like Iron Man and Black Panther and stuff like that. And this is a different special little universe. And in this universe, Peter Parker is a part of a Avengers program called, you know what? I wrote it, and I just then spent most of the time talking about like how much I hate spider bots. But it's like Web. It's called Web, and it's something.
Oh, Webs will house the new Web Slingers, a Spider-Man adventure. Okay, I'm gonna click on that link.
And so you're going on this ride, and you're helping him with a Web project, and it's something Brigade. And so you're a part of Web, and you are training how to use certain.
Oh, there it
is.
There it is.
Yeah, certain things he's created to be Spider-Man, and so it's part like the ride in Universal, if I'm not mistaken. The beginnings of this ride were actually done by the same Imagineer roller coaster engineer.
Okay.
And it's part like the Buzz Lightyear game ride that is in both parks.
Oh.
And so it's like a game and not a game, but they're also doing the thing like they have at Star Wars with the bots, where you can make a spider bot over a droid, and I don't know why you would do that because there's droids.
I hate that shit. The spider bots. I'm like, what is that even?
I don't like the spider bots at all. So
Here they are.
This whole thing is basically this Peter Parker, even though he looks like Tom Holland, is kind of like a scientist. So it's a mixture of the game and Tom Holland from the MCU. It's I don't know how I feel. No, and I don't know how I feel. I mean, like none of the Avengers Campus makes sense.
If it's him making the spider bots and not Tony Stark giving them to him, I mean that's a step up.
So what you're saying then, Kelly, is this is Iron Boy Far From Spider-Man, the virtual experience.
Yes, it is. Yes, and again,
well, here you go. Tom Holland's actually doing it. He is.
Yeah, he's in it. And so again, I'm just going to state this: the best ride is in Universal Studios Orlando and Universal Studios Japan. And it actually doesn't feature Christopher Daniel Barnes, but it features the 90s cartoons in the pre-show.
Here we go. We got some video of the web supplies.
Yeah,
I
don't like this. Like, I really don't like it.
Again, it's reinforcing the fact that because with the weird relationship between Disney and Marvel have with the Spider-Man stuff, the Disney stuff, they can't really do a faithful really adaptation of Spider-Man. They got to do so they have to tweak it as much as possible to make it like distinctive. So I guess that's how it's supposed to work. So, but yeah, this almost seems, again, and even that web logo, it's kind of reinforcing like the Iron Man kind of style stuff. And yeah, this is 3D too.
Yeah, they've done this. Well, that's what I'm saying. The 3D part is a lot like the Toy Story ride. That's like a game. The Buzz Lightyear ride. That's like a game.
The Buzz Lightyear, it's not a 3D thing. It's just a shooting thing. No, it's just an arcade thing. You're constantly shooting at targets that are popping up, and you're trying to get to a certain board.
All right, so it's like the Toy Story ride because you do have the 3D stuff on Toy Story. I mean. Here's my thing. I'm sure the ride's going to be fun. I don't like the fact that it's not faithful. It's not even faithful to its own movie that it's based off of.
That's true.
It's because the entire world is separately different. This is something that I've had weird feelings about since they started it. I get why they had to make it an alternative universe because how else are you going to explain why Iron Man's walking around or Captain America or stuff like that? You need something that kind of help the theming, but the issue is things are weird. I also have issues with the fact that there is no celiac options on their menus versus, if I go to Universal Studios, I can at least have a gluten-free pizza because the Fantastic Four Cafe, loves me. So all I'm saying is just I don't get it. And I understand that, I do have a bias, and I'm very, very thankful that whatever ironclad contract, Universal has.
That's a horrible term. That's a horrible term.
You know what I mean?
I know, but it's a horrible term.
Disney cannot put Marvel stuff east of the Mississippi. I don't know why it's very specific, the Mississippi River, but. On the East Coast, it's going to be with Universal and Islands of Adventure, which I still think ultimately has the better feel and the better experience for a Marvel land. I know I'm biased, but I don't care.
Now, here's a question that I'm just thinking of as we can. Do you think that this will somehow connect to the third Spider-Man movie, or they'll make it connect somehow?
No,
because again, these rides are kind of promotional, kind of.
I'm going to say no in the sense that I don't think it's going to be the character we have. Okay. However, we might see a Peter Parker in a multiverse situation that ties into the movie to the theme park.
Right.
That's where I would see that because again, like I said, this is an alternative little universe or a pocket universe or whatever they're calling it. That where everybody can coexist, everyone's happy together. I mean, they've got people wearing Thanos-esque uniforms because there's a Thanos.
There's a Thanos land.
No.
It's a Thanos copter.
It's literally, I think it's a literal popsicle stand at this point.
Okay.
But it's a quick service.
Let's make
station.
popsicles out of a genocidal type.
Oh, you mean
Thanos-sicles?
They use the Infinity Gauntlet to make rain pops.
Yeah. Well, essentially, it's a quick service station themed for Thanos, and I again.
I also
saw
weird.
I saw a building with Pim on it, so it's like
that's the restaurant.
Is that
That's
like
the
a woman?
restaurant.
Yeah.
No, I thought it was
It's a
like
restaurant.
a woman's shelter or a domestic abuse center or something like that.
God.
No, it's the
Goddamn.
PIM test kitchen.
At
You get
Using
some of that slap
microbiology to
chicken.
make-
Yeah.
You're using microbiology to make like food.
Oh,
Yeah.
I
And
like
because it's a
the
honeycomb pattern too. So it's probably
you can get several different types of food at the PIM test kitchen, like the Pimini
Oh,
is a
gosh.
sandwich. You can get
that sounds
uh,
like a brand that you would make.
Can I
Brad.
pick up a plate of Harry Osborne's?
PIM
It's the
technology has
Harry
applied the
Osborne
science to
meatballs.
the creation of shareable bites, inventive entrees, and sweet treats. There is the Pimini. Let's see.
No, that
what
looks like a meatball.
That's
It's
not a
giant
panini.
is.
A
It
panini
is.
is a
It is.
sandwich.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. That's
That's
the
that's
PIM
the
pasta. That's probably
that's
PIM
the
pasta.
Goblin meat. That's spider meatball.
You can also get a beer. You can get a Osborne beer.
I don't think it's an Osborne beer.
It didn't say Osborne beer.
I know.
blood orange.
A Morbius
Oh, so
blood orange beer.
I've been seeing.
Or
Or-
PIM particle infused cocktails experiments. Oh, that ought to
Right.
be good. There's also a
Okay.
shawarma.
God.
A shawarma
Yeah,
palace, of
shawarma
course there
place,
would be.
of course.
Of course there would be.
Of course.
Oh, and Guardians of the Galaxy mission. Oh, I thought this was Guardians food, but no.
No. Yeah, so
Yeah.
this is kind of all based around the fact that they did the Guardians of the Galaxy ride
Yeah.
when they retro. It's not a retrofit.
Oh,
They did that to the Tower of Terror.
Yeah.
Universal Studios Florida should still keep the classic Tower of Terror.
yeah.
It would be a travesty if they didn't. And
You mean Disney World?
Disney World, yeah, Disney
Yeah.
World. And then
It's still Tower of Terror out there.
yeah, it is. And they are doing a Guardians of the Galaxy ride in Epcot because the Guardians of the Galaxy was never a part of the Universal
Ooh.
deal.
Look at this, George. You can go to the Sanctum Sanctorum.
Yeah, I know. I had already.
Oh, you did? I missed it.
I'd already seen all this. Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah, but if I'm not mistaken, that's just a place for Doctor Strange to meet
Right.
people.
Now,
They've
where
got some other
exactly-
like Doctor Strange kind of artifact that's like a big sculpture that lights up
Okay.
at night, and I think it
Right.
does like a light show.
Oh,
now,
that'd be
where
cool.
exactly in Disneyland are they going to be putting this thing? Because they got to
California Adventure.
Oh, they are placing California Adventure with this.
This is taking over Bugs Land or Bugs
Oh,
Life.
okay.
Here, I got you. I
Yeah.
got you a map. I got
Yeah.
you a map.
There's a lot of outdated stuff they need to be doing away
Oh, I
with.
know
and
there
this,
is.
This
yeah.
works
I haven't
perfect.
been-
They're
I
also
have not been-
expanding Disneyland itself.
Here's your
Uh-huh.
map.
Right. I have
Here's
not
your map,
been
You know,
Mike.
one of the
Disneyland in
parking lots,
ages,
and they're
that's
going to
why-
put in a bunch of other stuff in there.
Right.
Yeah,
Down-
so
down
this
here.
used to be the Bugs Life area.
Mhm.
If anybody remembers Bugs Life.
Right.
I remember. There's a second one after Toy Story. Yeah.
Uh-huh,
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yep.
Man, look how big this place is. I've never been to this before.
I've been there probably like maybe 5 times in my life.
I've gone.
whenever I have family reunions.
I used to go to Disney World every summer,
Mhm.
and
Oh, here's Star Wars.
I used to go to Disneyland like usually like every other year
Mhm.
on spring break. My dad would send me out there to see my my great aunt, and she would take me out to Disneyland.
Mhm.
And then I went to Disneyland a couple times as an adult. Remember Hero Home Girl JR?
Absolutely.
She lived in California for a while, and I went and in the span of 1 month, I drove to California twice to see her.
Oh,
The second
wow.
time was to load my car up with her junk, and so she could move back
Whoa.
home. No, Kelly, of all people on this show, I expected from JR,
I'm saying, whoa.
right? I expected from JR or Brad.
Load her
Okay, but,
trunk
like,
up
what
with
have we been
my
doing?
junk. Jesus.
Again, whoever decides to edit this episode.
There's not,
And it
funny.
is-
This
and
is
you've never been
live
on the
to
call
tape,
for
as they
long
say.
That's
enough.
funny.
No, like crawl space, no context.
Yeah. Mhm. Yep. Because
That
these
would
things
be.
happen.
That would actually be funny.
No context is the best context.
You know what? I think that's it.
I'm going
I-
back to Disney World, I think, later this year.
Well, there you go.
I've been-
R.I.P. Bugs Life.
I've been watching a lot of the YouTubes, as some people do, and I watch a lot of live streams now
Yeah.
Right.
from Disney World. There's a really
Yeah.
popular one that I watch all the time. It's like this dude and his sister, and sometimes they go out there with like their parents, and
Oh, right.
and they like live stream the rides and stuff like that, and it's crazy.
that's
So
cool.
like, and every time they go, they hit up Haunted Mansion and Pirates of the Caribbean, which are like my literal two
Yeah.
favorites.
Yep.
You know?
So
Yeah.
I actually knew. So sometimes during special nights or during Not So Scary, they were putting live actors in Pirates of the Caribbean. And it's
nice.
a lot of fun. I'm planning on it's my 30th birthday part 2 because that's how we're doing that. But it's we're gonna do Halloween Horror Nights, so I get to ride Spider-Man. I literally have a whole when we get down there, the only thing I said, the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna go into the park and I'm just gonna ride Spider-Man. Like we're gonna throw things.
I need to ride that.
You're gonna ride Spider-Man.
I've ridden it. I've been out there on it.
George has ridden Spider-Man.
I've ridden it at the one in California.
We JR, you would ride Norman if there was a ride.
Or no, wait.
I don't think so. I don't work
Yeah.
that way, Brad.
Yeah.
All right. We will take a couple comments before we.
I remember because it's 3D.
Yes.
I think on the last show, a commenter asked if we will take questions after the show. If they're still with us 2 hours and a half later, if you still have questions for the panel, we'll take for about 5-10 minutes. We'll answer your questions before we wrap it up. What a good show. This was a good news show. I enjoyed this one a lot.
So,
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of memorable moments.
Brad, that news item sucked. I appreciated that. Thank you for holding that back.
I guarantee JR was thinking it.
I know he was.
No Ditko news, though. We didn't have any Ditko news.
This is going to become increasingly hard to do, JR.
Right, yeah. Because
owing mostly to the fact that he's not here anymore.
Well, they're sort of trying to actually summon the spirit of Ditko, or actually going to his gravesite and trying to, basically film an episode from there.
Hopefully, with Bruce doing the Ditko celebration this summer, we're going to go live stream from the Ditko celebration this summer, which will be
what?
Yeah, Bruce is putting that together. And behind the scenes, I'm trying to get Ditko relatives on the show to promote that. So that will be fun. That will be fun.
I want you to go to the whole story, Brad, about how you
about the beer
found the picture.
Oh my God.
Oh gosh, that's
yeah.
And hassle poor Tom DeFalco while he's laying
Tom DeFalco, 3 a.m. His phone goes
3
up.
a.m.
Brad, who cut off his D? No.
Oh my God.
I was about to say maybe there'll be a reading of Atlas Shrugged or something like that, or the Fountainhead, or
I don't think it can be a true Ditko celebration if there's not an Ayn Rand reading, JR.
Yeah. Let's see. Yes, Bruce is still watching. Johnstown, Pennsylvania. Yes, JR.
Very cool.
That ought to be fun.
Include a stirring Ditko diatribe about collectivism.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there you go.
You also got to do the monologue about A is A kind of thing, because especially if you read from the A is A comics and how it has like a wall of word balloon text.
Yeah,
from all the different stuff.
Hey, viewers, 21 of you, get those questions in. JR's falling asleep. We'll answer a few.
There was a point earlier I thought JR was asleep, but I didn't say anything.
I mean, that's fine.
Because I was like, I've been there before, brother. I get you.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, usually we've signed off by. Brad's been good about signing off by midnight or so, but
we're about 20 over that.
He just kind of got all caught up in this news show, and
we hadn't had as much news lately.
Yeah, this is a lot. This is
a lot.
We had a pretty good pace.
Yeah,
we haven't even touched on the rumors of Willem Dafoe coming back in the Spider-Man movie either. So that'll be that's next time.
That's a part of that particular prop that I can't find, and I think that.
You think they're the Goblin glider? Oh,
can't say.
No,
I didn't.
Because I don't believe that it's true.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Well, when is it?
Issue.
And again, when is this movie supposed to be coming out again?
December.
December.
This year.
Okay.
Christmas this year?
Yeah, December 17th, I think. So.
And is it November Eternals? I think it goes Black Widow, Eternals. No, Shang-Chi.
Shang-Chi, and it's Black Widow, and then it's Shang-Chi, or Shang-Chi is how it's pronounced. And then
is it?
Eternals, and then you've got.
Yeah, I'm going to call him Shang-Chi.
Everyone used to call him Shang-Chi, but apparently it's pronounced Shang-Chi because So
I guarantee you at Marvel back then they weren't calling it Shang-Chi.
No, they were calling it Shang-Chi.
I guarantee goddamn to you.
I do not volunteer for editing this episode after dark. There's not much editing going on, Power. I'll edit
No.
the front end and the back end.
Brad doesn't edit this. That's the
No,
recurring
he does
theme.
not.
Like when something horrible goes wrong.
That's part of
No.
the Crawlspace's charm. is we
Yeah,
never
no.
do this.
I'm talking about someone cutting this video up and only including.
Oh yeah.
the random quotes. Give
Yeah.
me time. Give me time code. I will. That'd be funny.
No, he won't.
Give me
He won't.
give me the time code. That'll
Do not go find
this
the
is
time
what
code.
you
You will
missed.
not do this.
I will.
You
I
will
will.
not either.
Oh, Bruce
And
is
you know
gonna
you
be
won't.
a Ditko play. Remember that Ditko play we talked? Yeah. Remember
that's
that
what I thought you
Ditko
guys
play
were
on
talking
Ditko
about.
News?
What?
That was there is a
Oh,
play.
were you
about
not
the
on that
life of
episode,
Steve Ditko.
George?
Maybe not.
There is a Ditko play. It's the life of Steve Ditko.
Or at least Steve Ditko.
Oh no, I do remember.
You
I
remember
heard about
that? They're gonna
yeah, yeah.
kind of
that
like a Mark,
evidently.
and they're kind of doing. Like
Are
a
you
Mark
really?
Twain, they're kind of doing like a Mark Twain version of it. Like basically
Yeah,
having the
Mark
actors
Twain
basically read-
Ditko play. I love it.
Yeah.
Simple question. With 4 days to go, how high do you think the bid will go?
12,000.
I was saying 10, but with
It's-
that much down,
yeah.
we're going to go up.
It's
Or
going to
that
be five
Scott
figures
Campbell.
at the end of this thing. Yeah, for sure. Especially after, especially if this is, if people watching this, I mean, who knows? If probably people watching this podcast are probably thinking, hey, maybe I should just.
What charity
What
is
in
he
the bid?
donating to? It's like having that guy's butt rebuilt after he cheated.
No, it's. I think it's to help art. I think it's an artist fund.
It is. It's
Oh,
some
okay,
kind of
yeah.
artist charity. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
art after his butt was chewed. There's write the time code down. That was a good one.
He- Don't. He's not going to do anything with it.
Oh
Don't.
my gosh. Where's I'm trying to get let's go back and check out the eBay auction, by the way. I got it up
no.
here. Hold on. Let's see since last we checked what it's up to. Okay, here I'm gonna add it. Let's see what we're up. 8,600, I think, was the last number.
It was 8,600. Yeah.
8,600.
Hasn't moved. Hasn't moved.
Hasn't moved yet.
Still 8,600.
Okay.
There you go. So
All right.
none of our viewers.
8,600 or you can get a really nice used car. Small compact used car.
Donated
You
to
can get a
Fresh Artist is the charity.
Mhm.
Fresh Art is an innovative nonprofit empowering compassionate, creative, and capable young people to tackle the critical shortage of arts funding in our public schools. So there you go. That's a good cause, J. Scott Campbell.
Okay.
Very nice. All right, cool.
Is he going to make it in the name of the dude who?
What
Is he
what
gonna make
what were these suggested images at the bottom on eBay? My goodness.
I mean, your
Oh,
suggestion. Honestly, right at your bottom, you had nothing but Kermit's.
Right?
Yeah.
There's
Well,
no
but-
permits on Brad's
But
bottom.
they also had copies of the first
Look
Spider-Man
at that.
comic
It is
that I ever
Kermit's.
had.
I was looking for a Kermit
Yeah. Wow.
and a
those Kermit
power record.
power. I had that power record. That was my.
I'm
Is
still
that
looking
Dragon
for
Man?
those.
Yep. That was
Dragon Man,
and the Wolfman one.
Draco, and I was looking.
Wolfman
Oh,
one.
that's hysterical.
Yep.
Check out Brad's search history.
Oh Jesus, no, no! I don't want to know.
Live
listen.
on the air.
Listen, there's things. Even your best friends, you don't want to know
That's
their
true.
search
No.
history.
But
Oh,
George,
absolutely not.
George is not surprised that my search history pulled up Muppets. You are not
No.
surprised in the least bit that Spider-Man and Muppets were pulled up. That cookie saved on my computer. Let's see. Andrew Garfield says he did not get the call. Michael
Yeah.
Reed, Kelly wants to know, is Dragon Con happening this year?
Probably.
Yeah.
So there's no official word, but the state obviously has lifted all restrictions, and the idea through the grapevine is they are going to go through with opening it and kind of having things there, but obviously they're not it probably won't be a lot of guests. They're going to focus heavily still on doing as many things digitally. So like, if a guest doesn't feel safe coming, they're not going to come, but they might do like a digital one-on-one, like through a Zoom call panel. And then they'll just air it in the like in a hotel room for you to sit down.
Yeah.
Or you can also view it online. Like
It's starting to sound
last
sketchy.
year.
Yeah.
No, just it's more. It really shouldn't be happening this year still. But
Well,
Isn't
they
San
they can't.
Diego Comic Con is happening during what? Thanksgiving?
No, they're
No.
opening up for something else. But it's not like what you're thinking about the actual big con. They're not doing that.
Well, is it
No.
going to be similar to what like DC did with DC Fandom, where they basically had that virtual convention thing?
Yeah. So DragonCon last year was virtual.
Okay. Yeah.
And there were a lot of stuff that they did virtually. And so
Mhm.
essentially this is going to be kind of a physical DragonCon light,
Right.
still focused on as much virtual stuff as they can, just
Mhm.
because everything is still very up in
Right.
the air. It's just more like, yeah, we might have to have a parade because of to keep all the permits appropriate. The contracts with the hotels and the event spaces will need to be kept. If we can't, like, if insurance can't get out of it, and right now there is
Right.
nothing saying that they can. So all of
Okay.
these things need to be kept up. So therefore, they will be there, but don't expect some big guest announcement.
Yeah.
Don't expect some big party. I'm sure that there will be people partying, but
Yeah.
I don't feel safe. Like, I personally, I will honor my obligations. So, like, yeah, we'll have the Spider-Verse parade people, but that's still
Mhm.
only going to be 12 people tops, and I highly doubt I'm going to have 12 people.
Mhm.
And then we will do the photo shoots as agreed upon for Spider-Verse, but those are my only obligations. So I will be there Saturday morning. I will be there Sunday afternoon. I'm not getting a hotel this year. I'm just going to drive over and do what I promised.
Mhm.
And then I'm leaving just because I don't even feel safe.
Right. And you,
Right.
So,
have you been vaccinated?
yeah, I'm fully
Yeah.
vaccinated.
See,
but
yeah.
The issue is just you don't know who's there. And I
Right.
know the worst con crud I ever got was from DragonCon. So
Right.
who knows what is there?
Mhm.
Let's see.
JR's asleep.
Let's check in real quick. Let's peek in.
He was a second ago. He was a second ago.
Do you guys? Matt says, do you guys think the '80s was the best decade for Spider-Man, and do you have a different decade in mind?
Oh yeah, I think
80s,
arguably
yeah.
80s.
Yeah.
was probably pretty good. Especially, I mean, even though I started reading the Spider-Man comics in the '90s, which is like
Right.
interesting time to start.
That's
jumping in.
interesting, honestly, because you and Kelly are younger than
Mhm.
JR and George and myself,
Right.
and that's JR's older than I am, but we all say the '80s, which is interesting.
Right, because I mean, at least because I mean, if
and
you think
Romita
about
Jr.
it's
Hobgoblin.
not. Well, is it? Yeah, and also you have the black costume area that came out of that period.
Yeah.
That was
Yes, the
probably-
black costume. Yes,
and also JR's favorite event, which was
The
Secret
marriage.
Wars. Yeah, the marriage.
No secret.
Marriage.
JR's favorite event is not marriage. We know that's
Listen,
after
listen,
15 years.
listen,
This is the
Linda.
greatest promotion of all time.
Yeah, no
Yeah.
doubt.
Mhm.
Listen,
Oh, yeah.
listen, Linda. All right.
Linda, who the hell's Linda?
Have you never seen that YouTube clip? Listen, Linda, the little kid.
Yeah.
Have you never seen that? Really?
No.
You need to. After the show is over, you need to YouTube.
Listen,
Listen,
Linda.
Linda.
Listen,
All right.
Linda.
So listen, Linda. Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Yes. Am I Linda?
Yes.
Okay.
Because you're not listening, Linda. You're not listening.
Just don't call me a Karen.
So, listen, Linda. Spider-Man beating the hell out of the X-Men, beating ass on the X-Men in Secret Wars #3. I cannot understate what a seminal moment that was for me in junior high.
Yeah.
Because I liked the X-Men as a team. But like later, in their, as they progress, as we started to get into the 90s, I got a little tired of their pretentious crap. I'll put it that way. All right. And I got a little tired of everything being mutants everywhere.
Yep.
So I loved Spider-Man kicking the living shit out of the X-Men in Secret Wars #3 and doing it so fast. Like they didn't even have time. They didn't even know what the hell was going on.
No.
That was one of the coolest moments
I
for
would
me
agree.
as a comic fan. And you know how traumatic it is for me to have to listen to J.R. Fettinger shit on that.
JR, you don't like that Spider-Man can kick the X-Men in about 2 pages?
That doesn't redeem Secret Wars.
All right.
We're not asking if it redeemed Secret Wars. Listen, Linda, we're asking.
Well, there's 2 Lindas now.
We're asking if you liked it.
Yeah. Did you like it? That's a good question.
The actual moment where Spider-Man defeats an entire team of X-Men, including Professor Xavier
and Wolverine.
Certainly more so than Colossus not being able to wait till Kitty Pryde turned 16 so that he can, or 18 so they can do her, so
wow.
That was some unfortunate. Yeah. No,
Yeah,
that was some unfortunate implications.
All right.
But anyway,
Hero Ring says in issue 865, when the Syndicate come in, are we supposed to believe that they killed the goons they were attacking? And if so, do you think Pete would like it? Probably let it happen, or am I overthinking it?
I don't think Pete was letting it happen. I just think there was so much going on. There's only so much he can do.
Yeah.
At any given time.
I know I couldn't make it a review show, but I wanted to say that entire scene, I could not make heads or tails out of what was going on in there.
It's like the Trello art.
Bad.
Yeah.
Brad, remember when we covered recently that big gang fight with the Sons of the Tiger?
Yeah.
Remember we covered that whole fight, and you had different gang elements fighting. There were dudes getting killed by other dudes.
And
there were gang members killing other dudes.
And you could follow Sal Buscema's art.
You could, and I mean, so it's not a matter of Spider-Man being okay with it. There's only so much Spider-Man can do.
Right. Mm-hmm. Michael Reed wants to know what we would think if Andrew's body double shows up and Toby does show up.
I think that on it. So there's also people are also forgetting that Andrew got fired.
Yes, that is true.
So there's that big possibility, and that's the thing is like he's playing coy, but the issue is we don't know the agreement that he had when he got fired for any unused footage or his likeness towards Spider-Man, which is why I feel this is possible.
I will say this: it'd be the irony of this thing would be that this would technically qualify if he did make some kind of appearance. This would qualify as his third Spider-Man film, which he was contractually agreed to.
Probably the contract has a date on it, I would imagine.
It's going to be interesting because number one, I mean, like normally I would say that reusing old footage to include them into the film is kind of. Well, I want to say it's kind of smarmy.
Well,
and it's not. Yeah, but to say it's not something that it seems like that's in Sony's wheelhouse. If it's janky or smarmy, it seems perfectly fine with Sony. But it doesn't seem like something I think that I would otherwise think would fly at Marvel with the MCU. But they're owned by Disney, and what does Disney love to do?
Oh yeah,
for Star Wars. They've already done all that stuff with Star Wars, and they have zero problem with that.
They did that with
Princess Leia and
it makes me wonder. Now, when they did it with Moff Tarkin and Princess Leia, they also did it with the okays from their family.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Or in Peter Cushing's case, his former assistant's okay because he left his entire estate to her because his wife had already died.
Yep.
And so that's fine. But it makes me wonder what Marvel's going to do because they're like, well, we're not going to recast Black Panther. And it makes me think, okay, well, what are you going to do with Black Panther? Because people are going to have questions about Black Panther now. Kelly.
I have a feeling on that just because that was something I was shocked to find out that they have been filming because normally here in Atlanta, especially when you are friends with a lot of people in the movie industry, you'll hear rumblings of where people are going, what the codes are, etc. I mean, literally all of Miss Marvel and Hawkeye have pretty much filmed in my backyard. Like I could see them filming. So that's been a thing. And and basically they were filming this new movie here. No one knew. And I know that the script, they had already had the script and already had everything planned. I think that they changed it to possibly feature Shuri as Black Panther. Yeah. But I don't know actually what they're doing with Chadwick Boseman, but I don't think that they're going to do the CGI stuff for him out of respect.
Well, that's the thing though. I mean, like if you're not going to, number one, because they said they're not going to recast Black Panther. So if they're not going to recast Black Panther, and if you're going to transition it off to Shuri, his sister, becoming Black Panther, which in that case is not technically recasting Black Panther, you still have to explain how T'Challa is not there.
Yeah.
And if you're not going to use pre-filmed footage or CGI, I don't know how you do that.
Yeah.
Died off camera. I don't know.
Well, again, but again, it could be like I mean, like you said, George, they still did it with the Star Wars films, and so there is precedent set. Even if I mean, granted, they're probably still going to have the okay with the Boseman's.
Yeah, we don't know. I mean, it'll depend on what Boseman's family was up for, what Boseman was up for in his contract. I guess I don't know.
Right.
Another question from Eric: our thoughts on WandaVision and Falcon and Winter Soldier?
Oh no, WandaVision was insane.
It was
WandaVision was one of the greatest things I've ever
but
seen.
WandaVision was better, I thought.
WandaVision was better.
Yeah.
It's also like comparing two different things, though.
Because WandaVision was more like kind of like it started off as like a parody of sitcoms, but then it became more of kind of like almost like a tragic kind of drama thing.
It was for that the whole time, though.
Yeah, and then you got Falcon and Winter Soldier is more like an action kind of buddy comedy.
Falcon Winter Soldier felt like a sequel to Captain America.
It was
Captain America 2.
Yeah, it was essentially what it was supposed to be. It could be argued like that was the real Captain America 4, especially even though I know they've announced that there's going to be a Captain America 4, but it was more like allegedly the lead up thing. Although there were parts about that I think I did like, that I would prefer than others. I think the Falcon becoming the new Cap was great, but although I would say technically he already was the new Cap when Steve handed him Shield anyway, but I guess we had to have an arc. And
I loved hearing the new Captain America say, "You earned this ass whooping."
I know.
Yeah.
Oh my! I howled. I thought that was
the shot of the shield with the blood on it. Oh my gosh!
That was Walker's storyline. I'm glad that they went the direction they went with that. I think everyone.
Go ahead, Mike. I'm sorry.
I think everyone will agree though that Sharon Carter being revealed. Spoilers, by the way.
Yeah.
She revealed that. Yeah.
They didn't work for me. It didn't jibe with what had already been established.
Real quick, I got a question for George, but we have to say goodnight to JR. JR is losing consciousness. He's been on the air for several hours, 4 hours.
It's been a long time since we've pulled these kind of power hours, you know.
All right. Yeah. So, JR, thank you for your time as always.
All right.
You can return to the cryopods.
Always a good time, folks.
And we will, in June, JR and George and I will be back. We will continue the Maximum Carnage. Yeah, we'll finish.
The first, by the way,
will we? I since I wasn't there for the beginning because I myself was too tired and had to cash out. I feel like maybe I shouldn't be here for the whole thing.
Well, we'll tell you we're reviewing a different book and then just pull the rug under you and just say, "Hey, it's Maximum Carnage."
That's
part 2 and 3. All right. Good night, JR. Thank you, sir.
Good night.
Hey, buddy.
Good night, JR.
Yeah. All right. How about we do another? Can we do 10 minutes to make this show the whole 3 hours? Is that okay?
Sure. Yeah, that's fine.
All right. I wanted to know George's thoughts on Vanessa, the Nick Fury's girlfriend,
Contessa Valentina Allegra de Fontaine.
What did you think? Because you love her in the comics.
I do love her in the comics, and think that Bendis did her really dirty when he did that secret. I don't know, which one of the hell?
Was making Madam Hydra or something?
Yeah, making her Madam Hydra.
Oh, Leviathan.
It was who?
That was the.
It was Jonathan Hickman. I don't think it was Bendis, was it?
Was it?
Because it was that Secret Warriors book.
I feel like
where she became a villain.
Yeah. All right. Either way, that was crap. I hated that.
Right.
And
what do you think of Elaine from Seinfeld being Vanessa?
I like Julie Louis-Dreyfus. The character's voice didn't seem right for me. It just, I don't know. The Contessa had a lot more style and kind of panache. The Contessa was very much like a one of these 60s TV shows, like The Men from U.N.C.L.E. or
like Emma Peel or something.
Yeah, very much like an Emma Peel or what was that one? What was the one girl from? Was it Peggy Lipton, the Man from U.N.C.L.E.?
From the Mod Squad.
Yeah. Mod Squad. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Contessa was very much sort of a period kind of character.
A 60s spy, if you will.
Very mod, yeah.
Mod spy,
Steranko created her. She was fantastic in the old Steranko comics.
Yeah.
I like seeing her in the MCU. But the character was kind of I don't know, the voice just doesn't work. It's too flippant, no obvious connection so far to Nick Fury, although Marvel's already said that she's going to be in other stuff now.
Well, she kind of had somebody, the way that I guess it almost kind of got the feeling that they were trying to do like a Vic Fury vibe with her, the way she was kind of doing basically doing the way she was interacting with Walker and stuff, and also they're kind of whether they're setting up the piece like Thunderbolt or Dark Avengers or some combination.
They're probably setting it up for Captain America 4 also with Sam.
Sure.
Oh yeah, I don't know.
Plus, I mean, I like Julie Louis-Dreyfus and everything. Not so much any of her recent stuff, but yeah, I passed on Veep. Just not sure I'm going to watch. But I mean, Julie Louis-Dreyfus, I think she's like 64 now.
Something and I'm like that, yeah.
And I'm like, I don't want to be ageist, but at the same time, I'm like, you look at this Steranko Val, and I'm like,
well, she had gray in her hair, so I'm thinking she was like.
She didn't have gray in her hair. She had like blue in her hair.
Yeah.
Purple. Yeah.
No. In the comics, in the Steranko comics, she had gray.
Yeah, but she had like
30s.
She had like
40s.
streak in her hair, like the way. No, she wasn't. She had it the same way Rogue did. She wasn't all that old. I mean, she was obviously old enough to be like, like an adventuring hero type. But she was probably like in her late 20s, early 30s, maybe. Yeah. What were you saying, Kelly? I'm sorry. You look like you wanted to say something.
No. I was just going to say they might have aged her up a little bit if they are going to play off the whole girlfriend of Nick Fury to at least match the ages a little bit better.
Right.
And Nick Fury, Samuel L. Jackson's what, 70? I think.
Something like that. Yeah. He's,
he looks good though.
Yeah, but is the Marvel Nick Fury 70? I doubt it.
Yeah, I agree.
I think he's supposed to be because he's at least in his 40s in the 90s.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. I think it's funny. Power Packer says JR is sleeping. These things happen.
It happened.
Hold a sec. JR had to leave. Well, these things happen. Kelly, that's your new catchphrase. These things happen. Let's see. That was absolutely hysterical. Let's see. We got Matt says in the last Spider News, I was asking, would any of you support a Joe Quesada independent comic? Let me get through the sentence and the question.
I just read the question. No.
So would any of you like to make your own comics? Is my question this time around.
Funny story. I almost got to make comic.
You did. That'd be cool.
Yeah, when it was wee lad and everything like this. Basically, somebody was. I actually with a couple people because I was actually in a animation class. And a lot of this, apparently, some of the stuff they liked, some of my drawings and everything, like, because I was trying to make my own little superhero kind of stuff and everything, because I had a little concept of, and they were like, "Hey, you want to do a comic book or whatever?" It's like, "Oh yeah, sure." Never got around to it though, because I guess they were all kind of more into their. It was one of those things where it was they basically talked about through ideas back and forth, but it never got off the ground. And sometimes I did like so I did like, but yeah, it was one of those unfortunate things and everything. But I mean. I mean, it's just like, but I think nowadays, and thinking in hindsight, I was better. I probably would not be able to do like the sequential art compositions. It's more like I would be more, I find it was like, I would like be like more like, because I was doing more like traditional, like still art kind of stuff like this rather than trying, because what people don't realize is that, because when I talk to, because I knew guys who try to break it into the industry, is that you kind of have to know how to tell. You have to know how to tell the story purely by visuals alone. Yeah. And I mean, when you go down to like conventions and what have you, and they have to try to show off their work, it has to be your own original stuff, of course, and it also has to be sure, like, can you show 7 pages of worth of stuff? Like, can you tell what's going on the page story wise without a single word of dialogue? And they're going to try to critique, like, they do all this other stuff. So it's I in this recording tonight, I gave Nick Spencer a hard time. I did. I said, he didn't give me enough Spider-Man. Right. I profess I couldn't do it better. I think he does much better than I could. I'm not a professional writer. Right. But just as a reader, I prefer more Spider-Man in my comic. But he's a good writer. He's a very good writer. And I've also read people's independent comics people who've done their own independent comics. I've actually edited certain scripts of theirs and everything like this. And yeah, you do have to make sure you emphasize, make sure you get their idea, like all this stuff that you're describing can fit on a panel or panels. And not like it's not like a movie script where you basically
it's very much a visual.
Oh yeah.
Another thing that I don't think I would have, and I don't have any. I mean, it would be cool to write Amazing Spider-Man, but I think I wouldn't want to hear I think I might. I just couldn't do it.
So you want to have your mind blown, Brad?
What do you mean?
Click on that link.
Oh no!
That I just said.
Mile High Comics.
Oh.
Okay, hold on.
Okay.
Oh my God!
Whoa!
Yeah, I think you did tell me that you did.
Oh yeah, JR and I have mentioned this a few times.
Oh, yeah. I've totally lost my. Okay, where are we going?
So in 1995, actually started,
George has been published. There you go, and you signed it.
It started, Dallas Comic Con. A friend of mine, the same guy I started the old site that JR and I used to write for, Hero Realm.
Yeah.
We had started a comic book company called Midnight Press back in the mid '90s. This was when we signed it at the '95 Dallas convention. I was the writer and editor in chief.
Nice.
And I had scripts written for like the first 8 issues of this comic, and then another 4 to 6 issues written of like 6 other series.
How long did this? Was this just one, or did you have multiple?
This was the only one we did, because we put everything we had into making like the best first issue we could.
Yeah.
And we didn't make enough money. It was in the '90s, So I mean, and if you read it, if you were to order this, that's the signed copy. Mile High also has normal copies. The signed one is worth $120.
Woo!
Wow.
And and the regular ones, you've got anywhere from $6 to good or $30 to near mint. JR has one of these. I don't know if it's signed or not, but
cool.
Yeah, that's a Boris Vallejo cover.
Wow, you got Boris on your first issue?
We got Boris.
Can you tell me how much he charged for to paint that?
Now this is 1995.
Okay, how much did that had to be expensive?
Yeah, and I was the one that cut the check for that.
How much?
It was I think like $6,000.
Woo!
Wow,
that's 1995 money. Not
right.
And we had approached at one. The second cover. This will blow your mind. The second and third covers were already done.
Of course.
The second cover was by John Bolton.
Oh, I know. Yeah, I've heard of him.
And the third cover was by Joe Quesada and Jimmy Palmiotti.
Whoa.
Here's a question. Did they also charge $6,000?
No, I think they charged $1,500 for an inked black and white, and then we colored it.
Oh, cool.
John Bolton, I think the John Bolton one was like $3,000, maybe 2,000, something like that. And so at this convention, Boris, or no, not at this convention. We also took the book across country. We drove it out to the San Diego Comic-Con that year. And we flew Boris and Julie Bell out.
Oh, Julie Bell's done some Spider-Man
for
stuff,
the convention. And Boris did signings with us. And then Julie Bell was there and did Marvel signing, or those card signings, because remember she was doing those cards at the time. And so we got to hang out with them for a little while. And Boris was very cool, very laid back, very easy to get along with.
Here's a question: how did you raise money to pay Boris? So how did you raise the funds?
I'll tell you off air.
Oh, okay.
I don't want to get into this. It's nothing bad. I didn't sell drugs or anything. But huh? What?
I was like, I wasn't going in the drugs direction.
No. If Brad lets us talk for a few minutes after he's shut the stream down, I'll explain this.
Okay, I will.
So that was we did not sell enough of the first issue.
That's too bad
to keep going because and it was too bad, But I mean, here's the thing though, because I also spent money to make a movie back when I had. I was in film school in the early '90s, or I say film school. I was studying film at University of North Texas, where I graduated from, and So I remember one time we had a guy who had graduated, he had gone to North Texas and he made a film. It was either Leviathan or Deep Star 6. I can't remember which one it was now, back in the day. And he came and talked to us at school, and he's like, if you want to make movies, why are you in school? You should go out and direct.
Yeah.
And a lot of us were like, holy shit, he's right. What the hell are we doing here? You know? And so because by the time I'd gotten into film school, I had already read so many books. I had already, like, the first year was kind of boring to me. I was like, oh God, so I did that, and made a movie with a lot of friends of mine. It was about a grave robber who falls in love with a dead girl.
Oh,
And I played it was called My Dead Lover. And I played you won't find this anywhere.
Right.
Christ,
wait a minute. Let me search YouTube. No,
you won't find this anywhere. It may be on IMDb if somebody did this. I don't know. But
come on, George, for the Patreon. Tell us.
No. So yeah, I directed that. And I played a crime boss, and I'm the one who hires the grave robber to dig up the dead girl in the first place, because it turns out it was his girlfriend that had died. And he was telling the grave robber he wanted to preserve her under glass forever, like they did Lenin, in Russia. So anyway, I found out as a filmmaker, I was really good at anything else.
That's cool. Kelly, go ahead.
Well, hang on. Let me get to my point.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
So we tried. I've tried making a movie. I did a comic book. Now I say I tried making a movie. We legitimately made a movie. It was a 2-hour length movie. That was part of the problem. So I made a movie. I made a comic book. Neither one of them really took off. We couldn't get the film into conventions because it was too long. And if I edited it out, it was a completely different movie to fit the time frame. And it was like literally taking out anything funny that was in it. And it was not going to be a good movie either way. With the comic book, we took it to a couple of conventions. We had some good feedback. Bulk of Bulk and Skull from the Power Rangers loved it. Jim Shooter wrote us a nice letter saying he liked it.
Oh, cool.
And then, but here's the thing, and this is the takeaway from all this. All right. Because I've talked sometimes before about how my favorite filmmaker was Ed Wood. Just because Ed Wood wasn't any good at it, but he never stopped. He kept at it. He loved it so much he kept doing it. That was his passion. And so my thing is like, I didn't really get anywhere with these two things, but at the same time, I did them.
Yeah.
When I'm dead, I won't have to be laying when I'm dying, I won't have to be laying in a hospital bed somewhere thinking, I wish I'd have made that movie, or I wish I'd have done the comic book. I did them. It didn't work out, but I did them.
Yeah, you got it out.
And completing it in itself is a lot of its own reward. I mean, it's a letdown when it doesn't happen the way you want it to happen. But the fact that you set out to do it and you went from A to Z and got it done to a finished level, is a big thing. It's a tremendous thing. So that's my takeaway from that. Before
I ask Kelly if she ever wants to write a book, the chat is saying, "Come on, George, for Patreon." Hornet Tech Patreon panel does a commentary of My Dead Lover.
I don't think I even have.
You don't have a copy of it?
I may have it on DVD. Hang on.
Baby.
Come on. Let me see if it's still in this stack.
Bruce says that there are 13 copies of George's comic on eBay right now.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
And evidently, I think someone went on and bought it because there's now 12 copies on eBay right now.
Dude, I feel so bad because in the end of that book, I spend 2 pages telling everybody what we're going to do with it and how, all these plans we have. So here, I don't know if you'll be able to see it.
Here, I'll blow it up.
Here is here's the cover.
MDL. My
Dead Lover. There's me as a mob boss on the right side.
Look at you on the cover.
There's this is one of my friends, Justin Foya.
Yeah.
Justin Foya is actually he was the lead in this movie. He co-wrote it with me. Well, he came up with the story with me. He is one of my lifelong friends, and he is actually a legitimate independent film director now.
That's cool.
He directed 2 films recently. One of them had Mira Sorvino in it.
Oh yeah,
yeah, and he is a very talented filmmaker, very talented scriptwriter, and I just talked to him recently. We were talking earlier today about Humpty Hump, the late Shock G.
Oh yeah. Once got busy in a Burger King bathroom. Yes.
And this is this is my friend, my lifelong, one of my lifelong friends, Chris, and another one, Kenny.
Nice.
And then up here's my oh no, that's me.
Yeah,
that's you.
Yeah, that's you.
My character wore pajamas and a robe the entire film. This is me with hair, by the way. That's the first. That's a crawl space first, right there. Me with hair. I'm chewing on a cigar. I don't know if you can see that or not. And up here's my friend Lauren and two of these girls that were prostitutes. They weren't prostitutes. That the characters were.
Oh, the characters
that worked for.
Glad
worked for my character because my character was like a small town mob boss, and
that's funny.
There's a little bit of Roadhouse in this film.
Oh, okay, right.
So yeah, that was MDL on the back, a George H. Berryman III film.
Bitter Fruit Film Company.
Yeah, Bitter Fruit comes from if you've ever listened to the old Shadow radio show.
Oh, nice. Yes,
with Orson Welles. It starts off with saying the weed of crime bears bitter fruit.
Yeah,
and that's where that came from. And it was a graphic of like a rotten banana smoking a cigarette with sunglasses, with a voiceover that said "lying bitch," which was taken from the great. Hang on.
No, real quick.
Remind
the time code. The time code of that's a quote out of context.
All right, so the lying bitch comes from, if you've ever seen the great Flash Gordon from 1980, that's a line that Prince Baron says to Aura, after she's brought in the not dead Flash Gordon to his backyard. And she's telling him, "Oh no, Baron, I love you. And he's like, lying bitch." All right. So there's the cast on that.
That's a lot to process. There's a moldy banana smoking a cig with calling somebody a bee. Oh my God. Matt says, "Damn, I gotta see this movie now."
I know, right?
I don't even know.
Will that file play?
I don't know. It's on a DVD. Somebody actually coded it onto a DVD. I haven't even touched this in 15 years.
Wow.
So here's the inside art. It's my friend Justin holding a gun. That's right before he shoots me.
Okay.
Spoiler.
We've got chapters here. Number 1, movie or open movie. 2, Into the Graveyard. 3, The Piper House. 4, Plastic Love. 5, The Steve Show. 6, Jorge Romero Festival. 7, Excuse Us Ladies. 8, 5:29 a.m. 9, The Next Job. 10, The First Meeting. 11, Hey Big Brother. 12, Breakfast. 13, Picnic. 14, The Fates.
Okay.
15, The Double Date. 16, Crazy Freddy Respect. I can't explain that on here. 17 is keep in mind this is the 90s, so it was super edgy. Right. This is the time of Pulp Fiction and Reservoir.
Oh yeah.
17 Back Home. 18 The Ride. 19 Final Showdown, and 20 end credits.
All right.
Nice.
Would you be open to?
No.
You're not.
No.
Just showing it.
No.
Oh, that'd be fun.
No.
All right.
Like I said, my friend is this guy right here is now a successful independent film director, largely because I taught him what not to do. That's how I always joke with him sometimes.
Kelly, the question to you, would you like to be a writer?
I mean, of course. I mean, what I do now is I write like technical stuff and contracts and stuff for my corporate office. But if I, obviously, I would try to force Marvel to.
You could write Mayday. That would be fun.
I would feel at this point, it's me or some other new writer that I could trust. If not Tom and Ron and Co, because it's at this point I think we've established that we can't trust editorial to pick a good writer.
Right.
Gary and the Frozen, I agree with Brad. Spidey not being is a big part of the book in ASM. Eric says, put that joint on YouTube.
I don't even have here's the thing. Remember, because I bought that new computer back in December.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't even have this thing. Doesn't even have a CD-ROM.
No, you can get one of those for $20 off Amazon. It goes through the USB.
That's more than I'm willing to invest.
Okay.
There's a reason there's dust on this thing, and I haven't touched it in 15 years.
We are going to do final thoughts. Mike, final thoughts, sir.
This is I've learned some very interesting things about our podcasters that I never knew before. I mean, exactly. It's like, wow, especially but that's the way it is.
Yeah, this was an entertaining 3 hours flew by.
Oh yeah.
Yes, Gary, I imagine Kelly does own the full run of Spider-Girl. She does.
Oh,
this hasn't been 3 hours. This second podcast has been 4 hours long.
Yeah, and Gary, I own everything.
Yeah.
Everything.
George, I'm looking up at the top. It says 3 hours and 13 minutes. It's right up by my head.
We started this that's true, because we started this at 9:41. My bad. My bad. I was thinking we started at 9, but we didn't.
That's right. And Hornus, I'll wait until the end to read that line. Okay, George, that would be a great line to end this show on. George, final thoughts.
I've shared way too much of my.
It's like you're laying on the couch with a confessional. I'm
feeling a little vulnerable right now. I'm not gonna lie.
Hug, brother. There you go.
I'm not that vulnerable. But yeah, I've. But no, I mean, I shared a lot.
You did.
But the thing is, it's not. I mean, obviously, everybody wants to succeed at whatever they try. It's not always going to happen. But either way, you got to shoot. You got to shoot your shot.
Yeah, no doubt. Win or lose, don't have a regret of not taking the shot.
You got to shoot your shot, because you will always regret not having done it.
Yes, amen.
But if you tried it and it didn't work out, you may sometimes think, well, I wish I'd done this differently, done that differently, but you won't have that regret. You won't have the regret of not ever at least attempting it.
So try that new job, ask that girl out, try that new food, go on that trip, do something that you think, I can't do that. Yeah, you can. Try it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Kelly, final thoughts.
Yeah. Well, one, to add on to that, like Carrie Fisher said, you can stay afraid, but do it anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, amen.
And then final thoughts is, I am looking forward to the no context edit of this episode.
Okay. I got a snort out of Kelly too.
No, that was me.
Oh, that was you. So feel free. If someone wants to send me time code, or the people watching this now or later, all the stuff out of context that will be weird, just give me time code when it happens. I could take the file, chop it up, and that would be I might do it. You never know. I might.
He just said he might. He's not. Spoiler alert, Brad's not going to edit that.
No, I'm going to take my shot, George, and I'm going to do it. I'm not going to have a regret that I won't do it.
Brad, you and I both know you're not going to edit this thing.
I might.
You will have already moved on. We'll have already moved on, and you'll be like releasing something else, and you'll be like, that was several days ago.
So the comments are really coming quick. I'm going to do these real quick. Final thoughts out of the chat. Well, this show happened.
Fair.
Harrowing. Just realized this episode was longer than the freaking end game, which is crazy.
Yeah.
Wow. And we didn't have to kill half the universe to have it.
Hold a sec. Next episode's Brad's caption. It could be Broad Douglas. Yeah. My final thoughts from Gary. You guys are amazing.
Oh,
Eric, thank you. Awesome episode, Crawlspace. Brad got kicked in the Harry Osborns, and these things happen, says Vinkman.
These things happen.
These things happen. Hearing another great episode. Anime night, everyone. It's 7 a.m. over here. Go to bed or get up. I don't know.
Oh, man.
Oh, he's been up since the beginning, Mohammed. Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Well, this show happened. All right. Everybody, thanks for watching. We will be back next month. Or no, we will be back next month.
Mm-hmm.
We've recorded all the shows for this month. So, peace out. Thanks for watching, everybody.